now we are live. As soon as we confirm this, I will say hello to everyone, and then we can go. Just waiting for Zoom, for YouTube. We're definitely live, but just needs to refresh.
Yeah, I'm still seeing 2. I don't know if I'm caching it now. I'm trying to get my cache to dump here. Oh, there we go. Yeah, just got 1 now.
Yep. Okay. Yeah, we're live. We're good. Hi, everyone. Okay. I will give the streaming update in a moment. So, but let's first just say hi. I'm schwitzing. I'm sweating. It's hot in Florida. I'm just saying.
I know how to fix that.
What's that?
Don't live in Florida.
Don't live in Florida. That's probably not a bad idea, actually. Hey, Frank.
Good day.
How are you, sir?
I'm good, thanks.
Yeah, good. Are you guys? When do schools go back in session or around where you are?
You mean elementary schools? Like
No, like universities and stuff like that.
Oh, it never stopped at there's spring and summer courses.
Oh, summer. Okay, gotcha.
It's late summer courses right now. Schools, the fall semester starts in September.
Gotcha. Hello, Mike.
Hello there. I'm just catching up to everybody on YouTube to make sure everybody's seeing the comments properly. Okay, we're good.
Yes, we are good now. Hey, Robert.
Hi, David Baskin.
Robert's playing with tiles.
I'm playing with tiles and looking at what can be done, what can't be done, because not everything is for everything. So one needs to understand the limitations.
As a person who's directed a lot of TV shows, the only thing that's bothering me about your tiles right now is the various levels of zooms that people have on their cameras not being the same. So like David or Mike looks massive. We look a lot smaller.
Yeah.
I would want to balance that out for aesthetics purposes if I was directing a TV show.
And Robert, you know that you can exclude the tiles view from do you know how to do that? Because right now you've got the tiles view up also as one of your sources.
Oh, do I?
Yep.
So yes, I do know how to do that. I'll do that in a second. Didn't realize that. But I was just thinking, because I absolutely agree with Frank, and I haven't figured out how to format the image within the frame of the tile. So that's,
I don't think
you can't do it.
You would have to talk to the talent, or we're also our own camera people.
What you have now is actually not bad, though. I mean, you're a little smaller, but
you and Mike look a lot bigger than we do. Robert and myself.
I mean, look at you though. I mean, you're like lounging. You've got an
lounging. I love lounging.
You're lounging. The rest of us are sitting at attention.
But I mean, I have somewhere I have a remote control here. I can change my zoom, right? Like I can zoom in and out. So I mean, I could balance it more if I was being helpful.
There you go. In any case, hi Hasbek, how are you? And Roland is here. Who else is here? Zoom Tiles is here. TTG Tiles are here. Lots of tiles. Okay, so let me bring everyone, let me share with you all the streaming saga. So I met yesterday with the developer of the streaming app, the Zoom streaming app. I was connected with him through Andy. So the three of us met, and the great news is that we were able to replicate on his machine the problem that we've been having here. There are a few things that are kind of broken with the app. The problem seems to be when you're going from the app to a scheduled event, as opposed to just going live. So, and he explained a little bit of how it's all working. I didn't follow all of it, but so they have some work to do. There was some other little bugs with it, like if I set up the stream to be public, it defaulted to unlisted or private, and it would change that on the back end. So in any case, they're working on that. So I'm not using the app today. What I did today was I went through RTMP. Now, and I wanted to just, wait, I've lost my mouse. Here it is. Okay. By the way, I apologize if you are getting some noise in the background. So let me just share with you. So I created the stream, and then so I realized that the reason it probably wasn't going, one of the reasons why it may not have been going to the scheduled stream, in addition to the fact that the app was having trouble, but even when I was doing it through the regular live streaming, was that the RTMP information can change. In fact, my understanding is that, let me see if I can, is it gonna let me show you? Yeah. So when I don't know if you can see this, but I don't know if this just hides it or if it changes it. But if you by accident click reset, then everything is different. So I made 2 changes in the back end. Actually, I made 1 change here and 1 change in Zoom. So the change I made here, oh shoot, and I'm sorry that you can't see it anymore because we're live, but when you're setting up your stream, there's an option over here for auto start and auto stop. It was suggested to me that I turn off auto stop. And that's because if Zoom were to drop out for some reason, if I were to lose connectivity, if auto stop is turned on, then the YouTube stream will stop. And if I restart it, it'll create a new stream. But if I don't have auto stop on, then I can reconnect to that same stream. Now, after a certain while, it will just cut out, but there's some buffer time there. The auto start, I did keep turned on, but then in Zoom, I turned on, where's the, I wonder if I can see that option here. I turned on configure in meeting. And when I did that, let's go into meetings up here. This isn't the right account, but it doesn't really matter. Personal live streaming, configure to, so right down here, there's an option, configure live stream during the meeting. So I turned that on for today because I wanted to make sure that I copied the correct RTMP information in. And so that's why it didn't auto start this morning. So this afternoon. So what that means is the reason it wasn't going right away, Mike, is that when you don't auto start, you have to go into YouTube Studio and click go live. And that button actually didn't show up for me for a little bit. So in any case, not to bore everyone, but that's, the live streaming saga continues. Hopefully that app will be updated and we'll be able to do that more easily. But we are live and it's working now.
The auto stop part that you were mentioning, David, that does actually make sense because of the fact that as far as YouTube is concerned, if it lost the feed from Zoom, you got to remember Zoom is actually sending the RTMP to it.
Right.
Right. So as far as YouTube is concerned, from the content delivery network side, it's finished, right? Because the Zoom sent the auto stop to a point-ish command as compared to it being a temporary lapse of network issues between Zoom and YouTube servers.
Yeah. We also walked through, by the way, when I was showing them that, let me open the app so I can, apps, not that I'm going to use it, but live streaming. Okay. So, so one of the things that was happening is that this was not, it's interesting that it actually started up now because it was not, every time I was opening it, it was asking me to add the channels again. And one of the things I talked to them about is how confusing it was to add a channel, simply to add a channel. I didn't know what I was logging into. The first, because you have to log in first to Zoom, then you have to log into YouTube. But when you're logging into YouTube, it doesn't say you're logging into YouTube. The Zoom logo is still up there. So and unfortunately, we're at the mercy of YouTube. and all the other streaming platforms. Zoom can't change what those landing pages look like, which tells you right there how challenging this is, because it's not just whatever Zoom wants or what we ask Zoom to do. It's all these other platforms also. So in any case, we are now live streaming. And hello.
Sorry, David, just one question on that. Are you live streaming with the app or through Zoom itself?
I just did it through Zoom. Yeah.
Okay.
The app right now is not able to go to a pre-scheduled stream.
Okay.
Yeah. At least for me, it's not, and for the developer who I met with yesterday, he saw the reason that he hadn't seen it before. And this is interesting, is that the way he described it to me is that in order to when you pull up the app, when you open the app, right? So here I've opened the app, and without doing anything, there's what looks like a scheduled stream here, right? Live stream test 2, and what this could say anything. In fact, if I hit replace, that's going to look for upcoming live streams. But so because I don't have any upcoming live streams, this is what it is actually. It creates one for you. And Zoom, I believe, thinks of this, even though you're going live right now, Zoom thinks of it as an existing stream, a scheduled stream. It's just scheduled for right now. This is the way he was describing it to me. And so he kept trying to replicate this using one of the Zoom existing streams. He had not gone into YouTube, created a stream in the Creator Studio, and then tried to connect it that way. So in any case, so I'm not using the app right now.
So
Okay.
you've helped hundreds and thousands of people. Thank you.
Hundreds and thousands. Absolutely. So Ray is here, and once he gets in and settled, he and I met yesterday and we were chatting about a few things, but maybe we could start with the updates. We got some updates. So one of the updates was, Mike, if you want to wear a red shirt, was that you last week?
I was.
With the red around, you may now do that again.
I may now do that again.
Been given the blessing by Zoom Tiles, by Liminal Tiles, to do that. They fixed that in the 1.0.3 update.
I get it.
Yes, from this past week. So now you can see that. Do you have that red border? Can you throw up that red border? We can actually test and see if it works.
I will be momentarily. Yep.
Yeah. So that was one of the things that they fixed. They apparently it was taking black and it was translating that into a Luma key or something. I don't understand, but they did fix that. And then we got a bunch of updates into Vanilla Zoom as well, some of which we should try out. Boy, it's really loud here. I apologize for that. I'm just curious. Can you guys hear all that noise? You can.
Yes, we can.
Okay.
Just
Sorry, I'll mute. I apologize. I'm not sure why they're yelling out there. Actually, I won't.
Zoom not. But Dave, does Zoom not handle that background noise?
It should, but I have I keep the setting on like very low, so that if I want to play music and I forget to turn on original audio, then it still will capture it.
Crank it up. Let's see how effective it is at getting rid of stuff.
All right. Hold on a second. Let's do this. So here I am, and oops, didn't want to do that. Zoom background noise. Yeah, I keep it on low. Says, well, now they all just got quiet. Make noise. So now I'll keep it on high. So now I have it on high, and we'll see. So they're still talking.
Your voice sounds worse now.
Does it really?
Yeah, it's taking some of the frequency range out of your voice.
Yeah. So in any case,
David, I usually stick with medium, believe it or not, even for my setup.
Really? That's interesting. I've always kept it on low. I actually, it's interesting. This is a little deceiving, actually, for those of you who love to play with audio settings. So I always keep original sound for musicians on the back end so that I can enable it in a meeting if I need to. Because I will very often play guitar or play music or something like that. When you do that, you can't see any of these background noise suppression options anymore, even though original sound is not enabled in them. Even though you're still using Zoom background noise removal, you're still using this, even when you click this, until you enable it in the meeting. But you can't see, so you just, I assume that it's using my last setting when I don't have original sound turned on. I assume it is. Maybe I'm wrong about that. Does what I'm saying make sense? Do you understand what I'm saying? Right?
Makes sense. It's kind of typical where there's a developer who doesn't actually do this day to day, doesn't really understand the interchange between having that button and the other thing. And
right.
Yeah.
So because you have to enable original sound in meeting, until you do that, my assumption is you're still using Zoom background noise removal, and the last thing that you've selected here, for me it's being low, is the option that's selected. Sorry, go ahead.
Turn it to high, Dave, and let's see if we still get that sort of mixed voice with.
Yeah, so now it's on high, and I'm talking.
Click original sound.
Oh, click original. Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah. Okay, so now I'm technically using original sound, but I have the last setting as high.
So it sounds the same as if high did remain, which is kind of what your assumption was.
Right, so it's using the last setting. All right, that makes sense. We did get an update, by the way. One of the updates was for personalized audio isolation, and this is kind of neat, actually. It's come to iOS. All right, let me get out of this and go over here. We got personalized audio isolation is now available for iOS. For going back a long way, going back to the SE and iPhone 11, which is kind of amazing. I have not used personalized because I need to switch to original sound so often. I haven't used personalized audio. Have any of you used it? Oh, you have, Frank. No. What's your experience with it?
I don't know. It's for you guys. I don't hear myself. There's a mix minus.
Oh wait, you're using it. You're using it now.
I think so. Yeah.
So you trained it. Interesting.
Yeah, I trained it. You read a paragraph or whatever, and then it tells you if it's got enough.
One or two of the interpreters have been using it because it works really well with boom mics.
With boom mics, you said?
Yeah, with mics that are on a boom, on a bar connected to your headset.
Yeah.
And it's really good because it catches your voice and it takes away all of the breathing noises and all the other noises that you usually get from boom mics.
Interesting.
And I've heard some good things about it. So.
And if they're bringing it to iOS, it must be something good that they're wanting to see more of. One of the other changes we got is 3-dot menu for uniform multi-sharing features. So for this, we're going to have to, I think, screen share something, right? So let me come up here. And let's see, I'll just share my desktop for lack of something else. Share. All right, so now I'm sharing my desktop. This is interesting. This is new. Sorry. So let me just describe what I'm seeing. I have no idea what you're seeing, but okay, I've got 3 screens in front of me, all connected to this computer. When I'm not screen sharing, my main Zoom window is up here. My secondary Zoom window is down here. And then this is just other stuff over here. When I screen share, usually my main window kind of disappears, kind of slides off. I still have my secondary window. And then the share window, which is this guy over here, is what kind of takes over. Now, what just happened, I still have my main Zoom window, which is, I don't think that's ever happened before.
There was a lot of complaint really in the Zoom community about that sort of, when you go to share, you lose everything. And
Right.
so that might be part of the response to that.
I wonder if that's new. I didn't see that in the, I don't know. Let me try it again, because wow, I mean, I never screen share, but that's a really welcome, all right, so again, here I am. I'm just gonna screen share. Let me screen share something different just to see. This is gonna be a boring screen share. Oh, no, see, now it disappeared. Now it slid off.
What?
It may also
what-
be because I have it as full screen. That may be another reason. I always keep
I'm still
Zoom.
I'm still getting the 3-dot menu so that I can either, if there were multiple people screen sharing, I can select someone else. There's also the Zoom ratio, fit to window, etc. Hide video panel, request remote control, annotate, and exit full screen. So,
Right. All right, I'm gonna try and share to. No, wow. So it's not. This is such strange behavior.
you might have to float your mouse up to the top of the window to get the piece that you're not seeing visible.
No, sorry. It's not that it's not visible. It's that I'm still baffled by what's happening with all of my windows.
Okay.
And where things are going. So let me. I'm gonna try this one more time. Okay. Bear with me here. So when I share my desktop, my main window doesn't go away. When I share a specific window, then my main Zoom window goes away. All right.
Where does that specific window, does it move onto your main screen?
No, my main screen disappears. I can't even see it anymore. It slides off of my monitor, literally. So now where are the, okay, so here are the 3 dots. I see the 3 dots. I see hide video panel, exit full screen, share computer sound, pause share, and stop share. Is this what's new right here? I wonder if I could share this. I think I could share
I don't think
this.
we're seeing what you're seeing.
No, you're not. But hold on a second. This is going to get a little meta in a second. So you should be able to see my Zoom window now. Can you see that over my face? And
Yes.
Okay. So yeah, this is meta. So now up at the top here, there is, there's this, I think this is what's new, these 3 dots.
Yes.
So, right. So you know how they did this new tabbed thing. So you can tab between the meeting and the different shares. Can someone else screen share? Is someone else screen sharing? Just so that way we can have a couple of screen shares going. Great. So now I should get another tab up here somewhere, but I'm not. I don't quite know why. Oh, I guess because I'm using it's because I'm using multiple monitors. All right. So but now if you click on the 3 dots, you get share computer sound, off mono stereo, pause share, stop share. And I believe, now this is the second share window. And here I have request remote control, annotate, and stop participant sharing. Do you all have those 3 dots also?
Yes. For Frank's screen. Yes. We just don't have the stop presenter
Right,
sharing.
the stop presenter, yeah.
Unless you're co-host.
So I guess this update will ensure that presenters can access features such as pause share, stop share, and share computer sound uniformly across all share types, significantly enhancing their ability to manage shared content during meetings. That's what the update says. Okay. I'm not sure. What do you all think? Is that a big deal?
Well, it's one of those things that's not a big deal until you really need it. If you don't do
Yeah.
multiple screen sharing, it's probably not that big a deal. I did have a client who had a meeting earlier this week, kind of her first ever really big webinar, and she needed the ability to stop people's screen share. She's basically from the Blind Institute of Technology, and so many of her presenters were sight impaired, and sometimes they have trouble finding the stop share button. And so she was looking for, how do I do that? Well, that's the new way to get there. You go find their tab and click and say stop participant sharing.
Interesting. All right. Well, there you go. Let's see what else we got here in our update. Excuse me. In meeting contact request with message. Zoom is simplifying the contact invitation process, making it easier for users to connect with external users directly during meetings. Wonder how that works. Let's see. So would that be through?
Participant panel.
Yeah, that's what I'm looking at. So I see chat, stop video, pin, add, replace, make host, rename.
Now hover over their icon.
Yep, there it is. Yeah. I see it. So again, so this is, sorry, Frank, is that okay if I was clicking on your contact? Is that, I'll do, Mike, can I do you? I don't know. I don't want to. Oh, Mike doesn't even, Mike's boring. Look at this. Mike's got nothing. Dear
Mike's
Lord.
boring on purpose.
Okay. I'm going to go ahead and add contact. Oh, see, this is nice. Hi, Mike. You are not boring. You are the best. And send. All right. So that's nice. That's a very, I will say, it is not very, what's the word for when you can easily find something? It's not obvious.
It actually, David, it works the same as it does in team chat. Anytime you hover over somebody's icon in team chat, you get a full box that comes up that has the ability to do some things with them. And so it really does sort of marry up with their other way of operating in team chat.
Right. I guess my question is it what's the word that I'm looking for when you can find something? Is it discoverable?
Accessible, discoverable.
You know, I don't know. I even just now, like I instinctively went to this side because this is where I do everything else. When you click, I don't know. It's an interesting question, I think. How discoverable is that? So that's a nice little update. What else have we got? Persistent AI companion toolbar. Access in meetings without hosts. Boy, they are really leaning into this AI companion thing. Okay. A universal toggle for easy enablement. Account owners and admins of Zoom Workplace Pro accounts can enable several AI companion features with a single click within the Workplace app and web portal settings. So you don't have to do all of them one by one. Zoom meetings can be integrated with Apple Watch. You can manage meetings from your wrist. Wait, you can manage meetings. Like, could I let people in from the waiting room from my watch? That would actually be super helpful for me. I don't have an Apple Watch, but I would maybe buy an Apple Watch if I could do that.
If you read the second sentence, David, I think it's you can manage your attendance. You can join and mute and yeah.
Okay.
Managing as a host would be
yeah, a little much.
David, I think Frank just put a picture in there for you.
A picture? Oh, wait. Really? Let's
in the
see.
chat.
Yeah. I'm just pulling it up for everyone. So this is, let's see. Let's look what these meetings are. I only see the one picture. Are there two pictures or just one? this is a picture I see. So these are the meetings, and then I guess you click on them and wait a second. What? Why is this interactive? Look at this. Oh, this is Apple. This is so interesting. This is what is this, like a screenshot of something? And I can go in here and I can create an event from this picture. That's wild. Look at this. Everything. That is just fantastic. I love that. Oh, by the way, wait, I can show something off. Something sort of connected to that. So I don't know if you guys have updated yet, but this is the new, I just updated to, what's it called? Catalina? No, not Catalina. What's it? Sequoia. I updated to Sequoia.
Sequoia or Sonoma?
No, the public beta of Sequoia.
Oh, Sequoia, yeah.
So I can now interact with my phone right here, which is kind of wild. I don't know how to turn pages yet, but I can go right into and I can completely engage with everything right here on my it's crazy. And my phone, by the way, in my pocket, I'm not even touching it. It's fantastic. In any case. All right, webinar features. A warning when ending a SimuLive webinar. What's a SimuLive webinar?
So with
Right.
a Zoom events license, you can record a webinar and then later schedule a webinar that simply replays that recording during the webinar. There's no audio or video from anybody, hosts, panelists, or anybody. It just starts to show. And at the end of the thing, it goes away. The only real advantage there is that a host can come in and answer Q&A and interact with chat. What they've had is a number of people who go, okay, I've got to go. There's still people here watching the video and interacting with chat and so forth, but I've got to go. And they click the end webinar and everything shuts down. So this actually is just another warning that says, look, if you do that, everyone else is going to be dumped out of the webinar.
Gotcha. If it's okay, let's actually pause for a moment. So for those of you who are watching on YouTube or not co-hosts, we have for the past 2-3 weeks been dealing with some bad actors who have wanted to make their way in, and this week is no different. It seems. I actually love, Robert, what you wrote to the waiting room. I thought that was really, Robert wrote that we're full at the moment, but you can watch us on YouTube. That was with a link. That was really cool, actually, just in case it's not a bad actor. But Ray and I met yesterday, and Ray has really been reflecting on this and had some interesting ideas on how we can address this. Ray, do you mind if I throw it to you and you can kind of talk us through a little bit?
Yeah. So there's a variety of things that I've been thinking about along the way of, we could make authentication required and try some registration and a variety of things. And then I thought, well, what if we made a recurring sessions event out of it, brought it into Zoom events basically as a recurring session, and basically took those of us who are sort of well-known panelists and made us speakers in the event, made it a webinar so that anybody could really join the session and register and kind of get cleared in through that mechanism. And we have a process then to sort of vet new potential panelists and guests and that sort of thing. And I basically showed him, I've got, I guess I could share this here real quick.
Yeah, please do. So doing this under the, in the kind of using events as the backbone, it also will give us experience using events and using webinar and using all the other tools that are available there for us. So, sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no problem. So I've got a Zoom Events 100 license, and if we had 500 people in our meeting, okay, I've got a 500 license too. But I use this Zoom Events 100 license for a variety of small demo tasks and things like that. And I've sort of retransformed it here into the Good Clicks auditorium. And the idea is that people can contact me and go, I've just got this small meeting and I want to use Zoom Events, but I don't want to have to, and I can kind of make it happen. And what I've done here is I've sort of created a demo Zoom test kitchen. And if I click on that, the what would be for people who come at this who are not already registered, they would see a register button here. And this little image here was generated by AI. I said I wanted to say Zoom Test Kitchen 2024 and kind of look like a kitchen, and the AI kind of created that. And the idea here is that we could just put the individual sessions. The titles could be changed to include, this week we're going to talk about ZoomISO, or we're going to have Andy on, or whatever. And basically at that point, then be able to click on an event, make this available to anybody, and they could register to attend. And again, the beauty of that really is that I can put up to 100 people in as speakers and alt hosts, and the alt hosts would be able to start the session at the appropriate time, and the other speakers who would not be co-hosted, they would just be speakers and panelists in the webinar, kind of use that. And that to me would give us some protection. So you may know in Zoom events, there's a range of security features, and the sort of the strongest security feature is, panelists and alt hosts must log in through their Zoom account in order to get in, and that would give us that level of protection. And so I just kind of threw this together, and said, hey David, let's talk about this as a possibility.
So what would it take for us to move into this? What would be if we decided we want to give this a shot? What do we have to do other than, I guess, just we would point from our website to this, and then people would just register, right?
Yeah. And as you and I talked about a little bit, David, we'd need to set up, 4 or 5 or 10 of us and have a test run kind of outside normal hours and make sure that we can gear up all the various things. But again, the good news, those of you that don't know Zoom events, is that even though it's on my account, I can set other people to be alt hosts. If you know regular Zoom, if you're going to make an alt host, they have to be on your account. But in Zoom events, I can make anybody an alt host. I can make David an alt host. I would actually make David also a co-editor, so he could go in and throw in his really nice graphics and that sort of thing.
Right. I'm sorry. Can you just back up for a second?
Yeah.
Can you just say again what you just said about the difference between events and regular accounts vis-a-vis alt hosts?
Alt hosts, yes.
Yeah.
So there, I get a lot of questions in the Zoom community about, hey, I need to not necessarily be at my meeting. I need someone else to run my meeting. What can I do? And there are 3 options. There's alt host, scheduling privilege, and the host key. In a normal situation, in order to use alt host or scheduling privilege, they must be licensed and on the same account as you. In other words, the same organizational account as you. You can't go, but I made Fred a co-host last month and I want to make him an alt host now. Well, Fred wasn't on your account last month and he's not on your account this month. You can't make him an alt host, but once the meeting starts, you can make him a co-host. But in Zoom events, the idea is that, I'm going to be setting up an event for a client and I need their people to be able to go in. I'm just going to set it up and go, there you go, it's your event. Have at it. And so when speakers are added to a session, and a session can be a meeting or a webinar, when they're added to a session, there's a checkbox to say, is that speaker an alt host? Yes or no? And they just become an alt host just by the mere checking of a box.
And what's the difference between alt host and co-editor?
Well, so the co-editor actually has the ability to go in and actually edit the events from sort of the back end. Change the wallpaper, it can actually change who's going to be the guest speakers, who's going to be the speakers, change the descriptions, change the images, basically the same editing capability that I have. And that's a pretty exciting feature. I've mentioned several times the New Zealand event that I had back in March, which was done with a pay per attendee license. And with a pay per attendee license, I could create up to 20 co-editors. I actually had 15 people editing the various parts of that New Zealand event. People from New Zealand who were part of the event, they did their own editing. All I did was kind of create the shell for them, and they went to town with it.
One more question.
Yeah.
When you're joining a Zoom event, so let's say we set up the kitchen to run as a meeting through your sessions, or is it a sessions license or an events license, or does it not matter?
Okay, so I would make this a recurring session, which you can do with a sessions license. I happen to have a full events license, but it would still be a session.
Okay.
Recurring session.
When you're joining that, do you join it? Can you join it still through the Zoom app, or do you join it through Zoom events?
Absolutely. So, I can't really click on this join button here, but if I could, it would launch the session and other people could attend.
But this is through Zoom events. What I'm asking is, if I'm just in my client, in my app, can I join?
Right.
Can I join the test kitchen from there, or do I have to go through the Zoom events portal?
If you are registered, it will show up in your calendar in the Zoom app. Yeah.
Okay.
Like any other Zoom thing.
Gotcha.
And David, it should show up as an events.zoom.us in this case, because Ray has a vanity domain name. He's got the events.goodclick, right? .com.
Yeah.
So you would actually see in your calendar invite, it would actually in there be that domain name, instead of it being, US6 or US2.zoom.us.
Yeah. All right. So now, just out of curiosity, so if I click, so I see this scheduled event in my Zoom. If I click on that join, is that going to just take me right into the meeting, or is that going to, again, open the Zoom events portal? Do you know?
It won't open the Zoom events portal. You really are in the Zoom events portal here. And because it's a session, as opposed to what I would call a conference event, multi-day, multi-session conference, because it's a session, when you click join, you get one of two things. If it's already in progress, you go right in. And if it's not already in progress, you get the little wait window. The session hasn't started yet. Please wait.
Yeah.
Okay. David, are you asking the following question? Even if I am in my Zoom app, do I still have to register for this event or this session?
No, I understand that people have to register. I guess for me, so I took part this past, was it Tuesday or Wednesday? There was Zoom Event Pros. Is that what it's called? There were a couple of sessions, Ray, that we were at with some Zoom folks. In order to get there, and again, maybe I'm just doing it wrong, but in order to get there, I had to go to Zoom Events, and then it opened in my Zoom app.
So if you have a Zoom, what I refer to again as a conference, it could be multi-day, multi-sessions, and a lot like my New Zealand event, which was 40 sessions over 10 days. When you click the join, you actually join the lobby, and the lobby has an experience that's a lot larger, shows you all the different sessions and all the different speakers and who the exhibitors are and that sort of thing. And then you see the events that are upcoming, and when one of them goes live, the button next to it turns into a join. You just click join and you're in.
See, I think that's the part that confuses me, right?
Yeah.
Is that
you're not alone.
Yeah. Okay. right, is that I go to join an event, and instead of joining, it totally makes sense that I go into the lobby. It's the app versus the web. That's I think what the piece that.
Well, and there's the good news is there's a lot of functionality that where you can change the appearance. I can actually, for myself, say when I click on the lobby, I don't want the lobby to show up in a web page. I want it to be a Zoom window.
Oh.
And so somewhere there's a switch, and I don't even know where that is at the moment, but it's in there somewhere. You can go, no, when I click on the join in my calendar, I want it to open the lobby in the
That's
Zoom
nice.
app.
I wonder if that's just a setting somewhere.
It is just a setting somewhere.
Yeah.
Like I said, I just can't remember where it is exactly.
Excuse me. It's a nice setting. Are event settings in your regular Zoom settings, or is it separate?
They're actually separate. The
separate.
vast majority of them are separate. There are a couple of things like the cloud recording. There's an actual switch that you can say, I want to configure those inside my event, or I want to use the settings of the host owner of the event. In which case it will go back to your, Zoom.us settings. But most people leave that to, I wanted things to be special for my event.
I'm in my, oh, here we go. Configuration settings. So I'm in my, what do you call it?
I'll pull down my screen share if you want to share yours.
Yeah. So I'm auto list events, transfer. I don't really know what I'm doing here. Public URL.
So you have a license for Zoom events?
For Zoom sessions.
Zoom sessions, correct.
Yeah. Yeah. Overview.
And so this is your hub view, the hub editor.
Right. I need to go, but I am in attendee mode. So let me go into manage profile. Maybe that's
right.
something. Nope.
Go to settings and notifications there on the left.
Oh, interesting. Okay, here we go.
And do you want to join?
Look. Oh
right.
my goodness. Oh
right.
my
That's where
goodness. Hallelujah. I was today years old. Look at this. Set your ideal join experience. There you go. That's what I want.
Yep.
Oh my. Took a little searching. I've never found this to be. Why am I not? Oh, you know what? This is not even the right account. I'm in a different account, but that's okay. Now I know where to find it. Huh. That's fantastic. Let me. Oh, you can't switch. You can't switch profiles here. That's you can't account rather. Let's see.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay. So what do you all think about that? Should we give that a go? And what do you all say? Any insights or input? It sounds like a resounding yes to me. That's what I'm hearing.
Well, we can't hear the boos from the people out on YouTube who are trying to hack in, but
yeah. One of the interesting questions, by the way, will be, and I asked the developer of the streaming app about this. How does streaming, not to the lobby, but streaming to outside places like Facebook, YouTube, how does that work from within Zoom events, and specifically with the app? I know that you can do RTMP and all that other stuff, and his sense was that the app right now would not work within Zoom events. So
we'd try that. I've not found any real issues using apps as the host. The apps that I have access to. I think a number of Stream Alive and Lux Narayan there were some issues using Stream-Alive in Zoom events, and I think the recent update that puts the deep link in your ICS file that actually allows you from your calendar entry in Outlook to go directly into the session. I think we're going to try that with Stream-Live and see if we can make that work.
Great. Roland is saying webinars, good option. Session, good option. Meetings, frustrate the bad. Focus mode on, oh yeah, this is how, yeah, if you want to lock down, if in meetings, he says, focus mode on, turn off ability to unmute, open video. You only open the audio and video of the persons who want, make person who want co-host, and you're good to go. You're right. I mean, they've given us the ability within Zoom, within meetings to, in many ways, replicate what a webinar sort of looks like using focus mode. But webinar does it without the setup. So if that's what you're looking for. All right.
And so what I'd like to try and do maybe is set up a time maybe on a Friday morning or something, and put one together and see, can we all get in there and sort of figure out a good mode of operation, and then when the test team is ready, we can try it going live.
Love it. If you pick a convenient time and let us know, that would be awesome. I'm definitely in for that. Fantastic. Thank you so much.
Yeah.
It's good stuff. All right. So what brought us to that was I read in the notes about this update about what new webinar features, but also about our locking down. I have to say, by the way, just as a reminder to folks, what we did last time. Let me bear with me for a moment. I'm going to log into the Zoom Test Kitchen account so that we can check these settings, because we made it so that folks would have to, I can't show these while we're in a meeting. It doesn't let me, oh, yes it does. Hold on. Meeting. Okay. So we said we have our waiting room turned on. We have our passcode turned on. We have turned on only authenticated users can join meetings from, oh no, we don't have that turned on, sorry. We have only authenticating meeting participants and webinar attendees can join meetings and webinars. So what that means is that the folks who are trying to get in here, they are authenticated Zoom users, which is not hard. I'm just saying. It is one extra step that they took.
Sorry, Dave, I lost you. Authentication isn't switched on for this meeting.
Yeah, it is. I think so. I mean, it's toggled on here.
It can't be, because I've been getting in on different machines without logging into any account.
So how?
Is this the actual meeting? I'm not sure you can. I don't know how to switch authentication on for you, your personal meetings.
So I'm in settings here, and I just went to, it's under security, and then meeting and webinars authentication options, and that
But are we
is,
using your PMI, David?
yeah.
Okay. Scroll up to the very top, I think, where your personal meeting room is. In meetings, yeah. You go there and go to
Yeah.
personal room.
Yeah, Again, I can't, because we're in a meeting, I can't edit it.
Oh, because
so,
you're in it. Right. Right.
yeah. So you think that that setting doesn't apply to PMI meetings?
Correct.
Yeah.
That's what I think. But let me just go into my account and check.
Boy, I actually thought I was helping us. Okay, let me change accounts so that we can see somewhere else.
This meeting definitely doesn't have authentication switched on. So,
all right. So let's go in. So here I am. If I want to go in here, so this is a different account. So, I don't even have the wait, is it down
There it is. Require authentication to join is up under waiting room.
Oh, there it is. There it is. Again, user error.
Well, and it's again, I only use my PMI with a couple of people, and I always use generate ID. If I don't send you a link, I don't want you to be there. It's also one of the really good reasons that I like to use Zoom team chat, because most of the people that I deal with day to day are there, and I can just right click on their little profile and say, let's meet, and they get an invitation.
I'm sure I'm doing it wrong. I've always used PMI for everything. And I'm afraid to say it, but in my personal account, the one where I do all my work, I've never, not once had a problem.
do you put out the access to your meetings publicly?
I mean, not really. I mean, if you searched, you could find it, I'm sure, because it's on my Calendly page. The link is on my Calendly page, and it's on my website. I think it's on my website. Pretty sure it's there. Just a link. But so yeah, if you wanted to, you could find it. But I don't post on social media and things like that. But in any case, interesting. Okay.
Back to release notes.
Back to release notes. Bunch of changes to team chat. Pin Zoom notes to team chat channels. Is this notes like in meeting notes? Is that what this is? Anyone know?
I think it's the notes that you can start while you're in a meeting that are in a separate app. Yeah.
So you can pin them to channel tabs for quick reference. Users with the existing note or create a new one to pin to the channel tab. Once pinned, the note is visible to all channel members. Now, again, sorry for my ignorance here. Team chat is just for people within your org, right? No, it's not.
No.
So let's go into team chat. I'm going to go into team chat here.
It can be. Depending on how the admin sets it up.
Yeah. All right. So,
as you'll see, David, I did accept your.
I did see that. Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'm feeling
so I'm officially external.
So here, all right. So here's, so here is. Now again, none of my actual things are. This is my Zoom Test Kitchen account, but hey, this is an interesting question. Could I change? No, I can't. I was going to ask if I could switch accounts on the app
while you're in a meeting
of the app. Well, I'm in a meeting, but I can't. Okay, so so here are my channels. Do I have any channels? I don't have any channels.
You got the Welcome Huddle channel.
Do I? All right, let's do that.
That's a huddle channel, I guess. It's not a regular
it's not
channel.
going to help.
Yeah.
Channels. How do I create a channel? So I'm going to create a channel. This is the Zoom Test Kitchen Happy Fun Time channel, where we have fun and happy times. So we'll say anyone in your org can find, preview, and join, or invited members in your org can join.
So also Yeah, okay.
No, see, I can't, but see, check this out. I can't add Mike or Frank.
So go to the additional or advanced options down below that.
Yeah. Here we go.
And
Who can add
external
external
users,
users
right.
can be added by all approved channel members who can send messages to everyone. Okay. That's interesting that that's below. Okay. So now, right? So I can add Mike. Feel free to ignore these if you want to, everyone. And I'll add Frank.
Me too, me
And
too.
Me too, me too. Wait a second. Wait, that's all I have. I'm not connected to anyone else. Hold on, can I look you up?
David, you're not being very friendly. Come on.
I'm
Be
trying.
careful about exposing email addresses if depending what you're gonna do.
Yeah, no, I don't have email addresses, so I'm not. So I can't search for folks. I can only. I would have to add you as, what do you call it? As contacts. All right. So in any case, so now here I am. I'm in our little chat channel. Look at, see, this is, I don't understand this. What is, like, hide this chat. I don't even know what these all are. Hide. Okay. Zoom test kitchen. Me. So does this, oh, here we go. Here's the channel. All right. So now these are just, I've never used chat like this. So here's, you can just add resources, and here's notes right here.
Yeah.
So if I do notes, I can take this note or a new note. Let's do a new one. That was interesting. Wait a second. I don't quite know what's happening. All right, so I click new, and then I have to click it again.
Well, create tab. I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah, Robert, I'd love to add you, but apparently you're not my friend. Wait a second. I have to make you my friend first. So
John Edelson's in the waiting room.
Yeah. So I'm gonna see. I can't even look at this. I'm hovering over Robert, and I'm trying to get his card, and I can't get it. It's kind of frustrating. Why is
I noticed in the meeting participants list, when I hover over Robert, I don't get any details. So maybe, are you on an older version of Zoom, Robert?
He might be private.
Let me just check my settings. Okay, just give me a second.
I'm gonna add this. I'm adding you all, even though I'm not. Well, whatever. I'm never actually here in this account. But I'll add Ray just so that, oh, he's already there. Okay, so this is interesting. I'm not quite sure what. I guess.
What about the create tab down below?
Yeah, I saw that. That's really interesting. Let's click on create tab. So now it created, yeah, just a note. That's a strange implementation, strange way of doing that. Plus,
and it's interesting, David. I think part of this functionality is intended to be used with the continuous meeting chat, so that if you have a recurring meeting and all of your notes and your regular personal chat messages, not one-to-one, but the one to everybody and so forth, go in the continuous meeting chat, and the summary when it's done by AI can also be posted there. And I had actually written a feature request, which actually didn't get many hits because I worded it pretty stupid, but it was about the Zoom toggle tax, the fact that, we've created this one place where everything is. You can just go to Zoom and find it. And I basically wrote in there that, look, I have to go somewhere else to look at my notes. I have to go somewhere else to look at my AI summary. I have to go to somewhere else to look at my recording. So I think this is becoming the place where all of the things related to a meeting will end up being, so that you don't really have to go from place to place to place to place to get to all of these things.
Right.
That to me will save, oodles of pointing and clicking.
Can you again, forgive my ignorance here. I don't understand the difference. So there's what looks like the chat from this meeting. This is
That's your personal, that's you.
Why would I want to chat with myself?
Because you want to leave a note for later. I do that kind of all the time.
Really?
I just want to, yeah. Oh yeah.
That's so funny. I never would have thought of that you chat to yourself. That's okay.
And here's another reason. Maybe you're going to go join on your iPad, but you've got the link while you're on your desktop. You can paste the link into your chat and then go over to your iPad and click on it from there to get in.
That's so interesting.
David, I actually do that quite a bit between my multiple computers. So between my studio computer and my desk and my office desk, I will drop stuff in there as well as another.
That's fantastic.
example.
Okay. And then there's announcements. Your admin has limited who can send announcements. Okay, I guess this is like an org thing.
Right.
Then you have your channels.
Right. A hashtag indicates a channel.
Sorry, I starred this. That's why it's there. So if I unstar, it'll jump down under channels, but I'm going to go ahead and start. So hashtag is channels. And then the little who's he, what's it is the speech bubble is chats. And then meeting chats. So like, what's the difference?
When you click the checkbox for continuous meeting chat, that's where it goes by default.
And the difference between continuous meeting chat is if I'm meeting with the same people 3 times in a row.
Right.
Well, the chat both during the meetings and after the meetings will
and before the meetings, yes.
It'll all be in the same place.
Right. And during the meeting. So when you post a link during the meeting, hey everybody, I just posted a link in the chat, that survives in the continuous meeting chat for everyone to see later. I didn't get to come to the meeting. What was the link? Oh, no, it's in the continuous meeting chat.
And I have some reservations about continuous meeting chat. I'm not a big fan of it.
Why? What are those?
I can't tell you how many times I've been in a meeting with 20 or 30 people, and then someone says, "Can you stick around?" And they don't start a new meeting. You just stay in the meeting that 20 people were in, and you have a private situation going on. And then I don't need that transferred, any of the remnants of that transferred to the continuous meeting chat where you stayed behind to have a private conversation, and then it all goes. And it's very easy to make that mistake.
Mm.
It's like if you're in a recording studio and you go, hey, it's just you and me, it's between us, right? Microphones and recorders everywhere.
Yeah.
Situational awareness is what that is.
Are the if there's chat, I can just see this getting so confusing. So we meet every Friday. Okay.
Right.
What would be the benefit of using a channel chat versus persistent chat for us? Right,
if you're trying to replicate Slack or Discord or something using Zoom's functionality, the chat can be channels. It can be outside of the meeting, so you can continue to have almost like Discord like subheadings, like sub topics.
So I did the wrong thing with channel. Right, I understand now. Channel is not a channel for Zoom Test Kitchen. The channel is like ZoomISO, ZoomOSC. It's what we have in Discord. And then the persistent chat would be all of us. If we wanted to do that, all of us continuing to talk. I don't even know how to set up.
For example, Frank and I think Mike and maybe Robert too, are on the Zoom Community Champion channel, which the folks at Zoom have put together. And every time you become a community champion, they just add you in. And so, I can go, hey, has anybody seen the spam that's happening on blah, 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 blah? We can have a little chat about that amongst ourselves, and all of that's persistent.
But that's not that's not the in meeting. Is that the same thing as?
No, it's not. It's not in meeting. No,
That's just a channel, right?
correct.
Yeah. What I was referring to is what's called continuous chat.
Sorry, continuous.
Continuous
That's
meeting
the word,
chat.
not persistent, right?
Yeah, you'll see the abbreviation CMC, continuous
Okay.
meeting chat.
All right. And why? I wonder why there are no meeting chats. I'm sorry, I'm not sharing my screen. I wonder why there are no meeting chats down here. In here.
Because you haven't enabled any continuous meeting chats for your meetings.
So how do you do that?
You have to go back into zoom.us, account management, account settings, blah, blah, blah.
Okay.
I've seen where you set it up in a meeting that you're scheduling, but I haven't seen it in a PMI. It just doesn't seem logical to have it in a PMI.
Yeah, I don't use
Oh,
PMI.
that's interesting.
I'm anti-PMI.
So am I. I'm not a great fan either, but it
Enable
would seem
continuous
illogical.
meeting chat. So I actually do have it turned on, but I think you're right that it's a PMI thing. Additional team chat will also impact continuous meeting chat, cloud and local attention storage.
Are you looking at the portal and the admin?
Yeah, apologies. I wasn't sharing my screen.
Because
Yes,
that's where you define it. But when you actually schedule a meeting, you have the option to switch it on or off if you've activated
right.
it.
And
yeah.
again, because I never schedule meetings, I choose my PMI. That's why I've never, yeah. And
It doesn't make sense.
You're probably right that it probably doesn't even exist for PMI meetings.
Because you're pulling in meetings with random people. If you were to add them to one global, then you'd be giving people access to all sorts of information. It doesn't make sense.
Yep. Let me just go into a different account, and again, I will meetings. Let's pretend to schedule a meeting here. Allow participants to join. In focus mode.
You might have gone to.
Let me change it to generate automatically.
There you go. It was there.
Yeah. Was it there?
Yep. Enable continuous meeting chat
there it
just
is.
above.
So that's there you go. That's what it is. So if you're using your PMI, you don't have that option. As soon as you change it to generate automatically, you get it. Interesting. I mean, it makes perfect sense. And so this is new also, by the way, I think. Yep. This add whiteboard feature. So you can, when you're setting up a meeting, you can either set up a new whiteboard or bring in a previously used whiteboard and attach it to that meeting now.
I don't think that's new. Is that new?
I
think that's been around for a while.
It has been around for a while.
Has it? I saw it somewhere. There's a big update coming on to whiteboards specifically on August 5th, I think. So maybe that's what I was looking at. August 4th, sorry. Let me just jump in here. Yeah, there's a whole bunch of stuff for whiteboard here. Annotations. Oh, sorry. I apologize. I was thinking about this. Cast Zoom whiteboard into a room. You can open a Zoom whiteboard in a nearby room with a simple workflow. That's what I
wonder if they're talking about a Zoom room there.
I think they are.
Yeah. Terminology.
You're not talking about one of the most exciting parts of the release notes for this week.
All right, talk to us. What's the most exciting thing?
OCR in slides. I put a feature request in. I'm sure lots of other people have at least 2 years ago for that.
Wait, talk us through that. Hold on a second.
Optical character recognition.
Did I miss it? Where is it? OCR. I remember seeing that, but I don't see it now.
Command F.
Command F. Oh, yeah, I knew that.
OCR.
Note, the enhanced meeting summaries with OCR in Zoom and ability to pre-approve users for automatic local recording features have been pulled from the release.
Yeah, I got an email like an hour ago saying these release notes have been updated, but you might want to scroll up and down. There might be other places where OCR is mentioned. I don't know.
So wait, do you think, hold on, is it in this release or no?
I don't know.
No.
When they
No.
tell you the release notes have been updated, they don't ever flag what changed. You have to figure it out yourself.
It's not showing up anywhere.
Anyways,
So,
if it's working, I'm excited about it.
all right, so wait, so what's it gonna do? What's
OCR is optical character recognition. What it does is when you put PowerPoint slides or other things with text in your screen share, it reads them and then it can do the same AI summaries and things that it can do from the chats. So it can look at your slides and make notes and recommendations based on what fonts, like what letters are typed on the things you share.
you know, sorry, I just had a thought. We should really, why are we using Discord? Shouldn't we be using Team Chat? I mean, yeah, the Zoom test kitchen. for
Discord
goodness
has a
sakes.
lot of features that Team Chat doesn't have.
Okay,
I don't know.
sorry, but I digress. So that'll be nice. So the screen shares will be able to be included in the AI companion summaries and next steps and stuff like
Text
that.
on screen shares.
Yeah, text on screen shares. That's nice. That is a nice update. I'm sorry it was pulled, Frank. I apologize.
I'm sure if it was pulled, it'll make an appearance at some point. They probably found a bug or something.
What? Can you explain this to me? So look at this. Under resolved issues. Resolved an issue where the Logitech C920 webcam intermittently glitched in meetings for a subset of users. How is Zoom responsible for a specific webcam glitching in meetings?
I don't know that they are. What I would say is that Zoom makes the SDK and maybe they work with their partners. That particular camera is a very popular camera.
Yeah.
And there's been a lot of complaints for 6 months, a year about Logitech's interaction with Zoom. I think it's mostly Logitech's fault, but I know that vendors often help each other. They'll have the Logitech team might have a team that talks to Zoom and has monthly or weekly meetings to resolve issues. They probably talk to Microsoft. They probably have meetings with lots of different companies. Anyways, it's good news for people who are having a problem with that particular camera.
But
Probably not unlike the Black Magic crushing black that Zoom end up fixing.
Hey, John. How are you?
Hi, guys.
Exactly my.
Good to see you. So, I guess I'm not. So, are you suggesting that like Logitech is somehow using the SDK in some of their software?
Well, they should be writing the drivers for their software, for their hardware, I mean. So Zoom puts out an SDK. You're a hardware manufacturer. You should look at Zoom's SDK and you should be writing your drivers for your hardware with that SDK in mind. Now, both companies can help each other and meet each other in the middle of the road. But I mean, Zoom puts out the platform. You write the drivers to be tolerant of that platform.
See, I would have assumed that webcam users or camera manufacturers in general, write drivers not for the app but for the platform, for Mac or for Linux.
So it goes
and then
both directions, I think, right?
Okay.
So Zoom also probably bears responsibility for making sure that they're using the best practices for those
Interesting.
platforms, right?
Yeah, David, what I'll add to that is that and basically this combines what both you and Frank are talking about is yes, the USB webcam has to work properly with the operating system. So in this case, it's Mac. Now, if the Zoom SDK is not pulling the proper information from the Mac driver that was worked in conjunction with the Logitech C920, then there's the chain, right? So Zoom still has to pull the best from the driver, which it might not have been doing to this point. There might have been or if there was updates that the manufacturer did to the USB driver recently, Zoom might not have taken that in consideration in their latest versions, and there might be a bit of a mismatch of this flickering that some people might have gone to a newer version of the driver, some people are in the older version. That's why it's not a global problem on Mac where it was intermittent.
I usually find when these things happen, there's a lot of finger pointing. The let's I'm not blaming Zoom or anyone, but let's say some people, you contact Zoom support, they say, well, it's a Logitech issue. You contact Logitech, they say it's a Zoom issue, and it takes a while before there's enough, I guess, support ticket requests that both teams look at it and maybe they have a conversation and check their own code and then work with each other.
By the way, I know that before I bragged about upgrading to Sequoia, it's still kind of glitchy. So,
Well, it's a beta, right?
yeah, if you don't need to, don't do it. Like now that I did Command F, I can't get out of it. I'm stuck.
Try escape
forever. Yeah, no, it's gone. Oh, this will be a reboot. That's okay.
Is this your main production machine? I never put betas on any. No. That's good.
No. Yeah.
So David, when you want to test the red situation you're talking about, anytime.
So here we go. There we go. Look how beautiful that red is. Coming through nice now. Let me, so this is the issue that we had was, I guess the reds and even there were some blacks, I think, that they were being keyed out essentially. So that is now fixed in tiles 1.0.3.
I'm gonna mention one more thing, David, that I really enjoyed out of 6.1.5 is it's somewhere along the way, 6.1, I think, the integration between my Outlook calendar and Zoom went away, and all of those meetings that I got to where I was loving going to the Zoom calendar and click to start a meeting. They all went away. Only meetings specifically in Zoom that belonged to me were in there. And when I installed the 6.1.5, that all fixed itself.
Oh my goodness. Thank goodness. So was it just a sync problem, you think?
Yeah, the programmers broke something and they fixed it.
I had a meeting with a Zoom engineer this week about Outlook calendar integration with Zoom. And also Microsoft also bears some responsibility. I think they didn't update some drivers, or not drivers, but webhooks, I think is the proper term. And they weren't syncing properly. There's supposed to be a patch, I think, in this release, the July 22nd release, that was supposed to help with some of that.
Yeah, the 6.1.5 fixed it, I think.
Zoom calendar, advanced room support, enhanced shortcuts, weekly transition animation. They did a bunch to the mail and calendars also. Oh, this is interesting. In clips, I didn't know this. So apparently in clips, you couldn't change the recording type.
Yeah.
That's interesting. I can see this being really important. Let me open my app here. So if we go into clips, so if I do a new clip, oh, sorry. Yep, there we go. So if I do a new clip, I can choose screen share. I can choose to do it with a side-by-side or just camera. So now let's just for the sake of playing around, let's do, I'll do this Zoom meeting. I won't do anything with this. So I'm gonna go ahead and start recording. And, oh wait, where did it go? I've lost it. Oh, here we go, sorry. Let me pull this over so you can see. So now here we are recording. So now how do I change what I'm recording? I wonder if it's No. Recording monitor.
Like in the share button, is there like a new share when you click share?
No. Huh.
There should be a panel on the right that pops out that gives you all the different layouts.
Panel on the right.
It gives you all by yourself, over the shoulder, side by side,
Yeah.
and just content.
Unless, let me close everything except this. No. No. So now I've only got ZoomISO running, which is, no, I don't want to do that. Ignore. Huh. I don't know. Interesting. New clip. Let me stop that. Recording monitor. Wait. Okay, so let me delete this. Let's try it again. Oh, I can't do it yet. It's preparing the clip. Okay. So here I am. I'm going to do, let me just make sure I'm up to date here. I'm sure I am, but about Zoom Workplace. Yeah, 6.1.5. So I'm going to do new clip. Here are the options. Advanced settings. Let's see, what does it say there? Noise suppression, stereo audio, mirror, virtual background. Okay. I can change all this stuff here. Fine. I'll start with this. Start recording. 3, 2, 1. So here's what it's recording. Huh. I don't know. I don't see it. What am I missing here, folks? Am I missing something?
So what you're looking for is the option to choose where you record to.
No, it's
The
what
layouts.
yeah, the layout to switch between just camera layout or a pip layout or
Before, I don't know if the updates like roll across all the different Zoom servers, but it probably has. But before, when you picked a layout, you were stuck with that layout for the whole
right.
recording session. What the release notes are indicating is you could now dynamically change the layout while the recording's in progress, which is a new thing. But
Huh. Oh well. Maybe that's not out yet. Well, it's worth a shot.
hey, there's something else from the release notes that I can't figure out how to do. There's supposed to be, I enabled it for my account. It said virtual backgrounds, AI virtual backgrounds. I turned it on, but every time I go into my backgrounds, I don't see any AI inspired virtual backgrounds.
I was trying to play with that earlier today too, Frank, and I could not find the setting for that in my client. I don't know if that's a Mac thing or a Windows thing.
Well, I had to turn it on in the Zoom website under account management, account settings first. But once I did that, I haven't seen any reflection of that when I actually go into my Zoom app and try to use it.
So here's the, if you just search in your settings, you now have allow AI generated virtual backgrounds. Save.
Yep.
Do you think that, yeah, there's nowhere to, do you think you create them, the idea is that you create them on the fly in the meeting?
I thought because there's not a lot of documentation, Zoom's documentation is kind of lagging these days. I thought, my thought was that you would go into your Zoom desktop application. I usually get to it by clicking on the camera up arrow. In the bottom toolbar, you've got the microphone, then the camera.
Yeah, let me just start a meeting real quick. In this different,
Sure.
Okay, so here
But I mean, I
am.
could be completely wrong. Yeah. So the up chevron next to camera,
Chevron, is that what it's called? What's a
I don't
chevron?
carré, whatever you want to call it, carrot. People call it different things.
Yeah, I
A
call it
chevron's
carrot.
something that goes like this. Generals have stripes on their shoulders, so those are called chevrons.
Did I know that?
Anyways, settings, backgrounds. I expected in the virtual backgrounds tab to see something about AI, and I haven't seen anything. So either I don't understand what they're talking about, or I don't know like how it works yet.
Huh. Look at that. There's nothing there. Wait a second. Let's see. I'll do
Maybe
portrait,
my thought process is wrong though. Maybe there's some
Yeah.
other way of doing it.
virtual backgrounds. No. If you press plus, no, I just forget it. Just go away. Why am I recording? I don't want to be recording this. Must have.
In some previous release notes, there's a mention that the feature will be rolling out to accounts over the next few months. So I don't know what that
Oh,
actually
interesting.
means. And this is a
Avatars.
release note from March the 18th.
You're probably right. I just got excited when the control to turn it on showed up in my account management. So I thought, well, if the control's there, maybe it's actually going to be functional, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, what I ended up seeing, and Ray, I'm not sure if you were in that meeting yesterday or not, but they did say it was released as of the 22nd. Or I believe they actually came up with the actual date, saying that it was within the last couple of days, it was just released. So, and they did mention that it is going to get spread, like Robert was saying, but that it was going to be in, don't remember off the top of my head which locations are getting it first.
By the way, I just want to say that in that meeting that I just fired up, let me try it again. I do not have automatic recording turned on. But for some reason, maybe this is a PMI thing again. It's recording.
You have so many accounts, I never know what account you're in.
But so this is a different account. This has nothing to do with ZTK. I'm just in a different account. But is this a PMI thing?
Well, you can have automatic recording
Automatically
in your
record the meeting in the
settings.
cloud. Wow, no. See, look at this. This is wild. Oh my goodness. This is really important. And I'm just learning this. Your PMI settings are completely separate from your regular settings.
Yes.
I automatically record meeting in the cloud. I had no idea. I mean, I never use this account for meetings, but I had no idea. Wow. It's really interesting. Save. Okay.
David, that last thing that we were looking at in clips,
Oh yeah.
where was that on the
On the release notes?
release notes?
Yeah, it's clips features, it says. Ability to switch recording type while recording. Users can switch recording types during a recorded session,
All right.
enabling you to toggle between screen recording, camera-only recording, and combined screen and camera recording. The enhanced
Okay.
provides more flexibility by enabling you to do it without stopping the session. Unfortunately,
I wonder if, because you've got the, and maybe you're doing it on another machine. Again, we can never tell whether you're on one machine or the other. If you're on the same machine, the client's already active. You can't.
yeah,
do it
no, I'm
there?
not. This is a
Okay.
different machine, different
Right.
account, different client. Yeah.
Gotcha.
You can now share clips, I guess, from team chat. Share existing clips from team chat through thumbnails and assigning appropriate permissions. Oh, okay.
Are you excited about playlists?
Oh, yes, actually. Sorry, I wanted to mention that. So that is kind of cool. Let me go back into, where the heck is it? Where clips? There it is, clips. So that's a great look, David. My playlists. I do like this actually. If you're, I mean, the way I use clips actually is, if someone needs to know how to do something, I make it quick. I send them the link, and then next week I delete the clip because I don't want to pay for the storage. But if you're, if you want to, I could absolutely see using this to build up training videos or things like that, and then just put them into playlists. I wonder if you can share playlists. Confirm. So here's the playlist, and then rename. What can you do with this? Go to your clips. Huh. Okay, wait a second, I can't do it. So let's take this, and we'll put it into this playlist. So now my playlist, and now here's this. And now what can I do with this? And I can't do anything with it.
Okay.
How about
Usually
yeah, no, you're good.
sorry, I was just usually in playlists you can change the order of the playlist, like what sequence they run in.
Yes, that I can do. Latest added, latest created, latest modified, or alphabetical.
But there's no manual drag and drop.
No. Yeah. No. But what I was wondering is, could I share a playlist? That's what I really like to do.
You should be able to, that, or maybe they haven't built the functionality, but that's a pretty common thing with playlists to be able to share. Like the point of building a shared playlist isn't just for yourself, it's for sharing.
I agree. And yet it doesn't seem to be built in yet.
Well, yeah, well, maybe that's next month, right? Who knows?
I'm okay with it. I'm okay with that. Yeah. All right. All right. Someone else is gonna have to take over and talk for a second. I need a bio break. Who's got something interesting to say?
Well,
Robert,
I guess that's
must
me.
have something interesting to say.
That
oh,
was
over to
just
Robert. Okay. All right. That's a segue. Robert, over to you.
This was what's classically called an awkward pause. It's a sadistic pause looking at you straight in the face, David.
Are you having fun? Are you actually using tiles, Robert, in anything? Or
Yes, I am.
Oh, you really?
No, I use it. There's a meeting that I hold regularly, and there are just under 1,000 people who come in. And we start the meeting about half an hour before it actually starts. And now I've used tiles just to rotate people through, and they see each other and they get so excited because everyone's sort of waiting like at a bingo party, who's going to be there next? And it's really good in that way. It is. It's really fun.
That's great.
But what I'm doing at the moment, testing here, is I was looking at ways of using tiles in hybrid meetings. So where you set up a couple of big screens at a conference and seeing how well it'll work. Now, Frank pointed out straight away that just framing people is going to be a challenge using tiles. Every movement. When I use Mimo Live for that, I use Mimo Live for the same thing. It allows you to switch on a function that will keep people centered. Okay? So I don't have that issue. Here we have this challenge, because people go out of frame. People are different sizes. So you can adjust that. So that's a challenge here in tiles. But yes, I can also see tiles being, and in that big meeting that I hold, when there's a break in that meeting, switch on tiles and let people see each other. And you only enable the ones with the cameras on, so there's a constant rotation of people going through. It's just like, I guess, leaving a conference room and going out into the corridor or the lobby and just meeting and smiling at people. Same effect.
I think the Fenwick framer.
Mhm.
I think you need one of those for tiles because when I direct TV shows, I tell the camera people zoom in, zoom out and they have return on the camera. They can see the graphic. So when you're doing it in Zoom, each person's their own camera person, so to speak. Some kind of multi-person Fenwick framer might give your participants who aren't very, let's say, sophisticated with video production a target to put their face in, and maybe they can make adjustments or something.
That's definitely one way of looking at it. But I sort of like the Mimo Live solution where it keeps the people centered.
Having it automated would be a nice
The
way to go.
trouble is, if someone goes off screen slightly, then it starts stretching them out. Which gets
Yes, you'll have to start
weird.
teaching them proper posture now too, Robert.
Yeah,
When they're
and the
sitting in
Fenwick framer is absolute brilliant. I use it, but it's something you can use when you've got a couple of people. If you've got a couple of hundred people, it's just unusable. It doesn't work. But good suggestion.
We're killing time here, so I'm gonna, before we started today, I posed a question. We've got some smart people here. I'll ask my question again. I have a user I'm supporting who's concerned about privacy in Zoom meetings. So you know how Zoom meetings tell you when the AI is turned on, it tells you when you're recording, and it's very apparent when these things are happening. This person is complaining that they aren't made aware when someone turns on closed captions or full transcript. And I've been trying to see us as a participant, like I know obviously if I'm the host and I turn on the closed captions, it puts a very brief thing saying captions are on. But is there any notification for participants that closed captioning or full transcripts enabled?
I am only aware of the transcripts. Even when I came into this meeting, I got the message that this meeting is being transcribed.
Is that the AI transcription? Because I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about if you go into captions and you click on the up caret and you can say put this into full transcript, and then where the chat normally is on the side becomes a running transcript of the whole thing. And they're saying that violates their privacy if they're not made aware of that.
I'm not aware of that. I don't understand how it violates privacy, but I'm not aware of that.
Well, I don't know either, but I'm trying to look for some kind of indicator in the meeting that alerts people that, hey, this has happened.
Any thoughts, Ray? I can see your wheels turning from here.
Yeah, I have the same question Robert had, really. I can see transcription. I may not want someone that's like recording in text, and I can see that the captioning, if you don't want anything you say to be heard or seen, turn off your microphone, turn off your camera, and just sit there.
I agree, but that answer won't satisfy my client.
Yeah. The answer I would say is no.
So obviously, Frank, it's something to bring up to your Zoom rep. Would be
I mean, I personally think Zoom's very good about being transparent. You know, you turn on AI, it flashes, you turn on recording, and there's a big red button. You live stream, there's an indicator of that. My personal feeling is captioning is very important for people with accessibility issues. And I also think that I'm kind of against this thing where the host has to turn it on. I think it's demeaning to people with disabilities that they have to beg the host to turn it on. I think it should be part of the core functionality. I don't think someone should have to self-identify and say, hey, I have a hearing problem. Can you please turn on captions? I think they should be available all the time. But that's just my opinion.
I'm with you. The other thing that I think may help, it's not going to be a solution to your client, but I think it could be another level of transparency by Zoom, is somewhere up in the green shield, which is now an orange shield because of the live streaming. There could be a button that says, here are all the ways that things are happening with the video and audio of this particular meeting at this moment. We're generating recordings for AI, we're generating recordings for the summary and questions, we're transcribing in 3 different languages. If there was just a place to go, what are all the things that could possibly affect me? That would be kind of nice.
Interesting, Ray, that you brought up the yellow shield, because I actually went up there and there was actually a security settings overview.
Yes.
Click, and it actually gives you all the things that are currently enabled and disabled.
Where is that?
So if you go up to the shield,
Yep.
and then at the bottom right, you'll see security settings overview.
Nope.
Oh, is that because I'm co-host?
Probably.
Yeah, I'm
Probably
not
because
seeing that.
I can see that as well, probably because you co-host.
Okay, so that must be a co-host thing. But yeah, in here we actually have.
So the hosts could tell what's going on, but the poor users who are sitting there going, "I don't want to say anything because some people might be listening." Yeah, I don't know.
So I put it in chat for everybody, and David, if you want to pull that up for everybody to see on YouTube, that's what we're talking about.
Yeah, why is that just for?
Why is that just for co-hosts? Good question.
Right.
That's what you're asking me.
So what were you guys? Here it is. I wasn't fully paying attention.
Yeah. So David, if you actually go up, because you're host, you should see this as well. So if you go to the top of the meeting, up to the shield.
Yep.
Where it shows, so click on there.
Yep.
Then you should see at the bottom right, there says security settings overview, and that's what you're saying.
Yeah, so that's what this
As
is.
hosts and co-hosts, we see that, but as Frank tried and Ray tried as non-co-hosts, they don't see that.
Yep.
Frank, would that help having that information? Would that ease the pain a bit or no?
Well, I think the argument I'll get back is, what if I'm not the host of the meeting? I still want to know what's happening, how many different ways I'm being recorded, including transcription. So I think it would help host, but what if you're not the host? Then it doesn't help you that much, right?
But would that be helpful if that was visible to participants?
Yeah. I have mixed opinions. I mean, on one hand, with all the people like to Zoom bomb, do I want them knowing all my security settings? If they get in the meeting and they behave themselves for the first 5 minutes, they could see what I've turned on and off. It would give them a cheat sheet of where there might be security issues. But you know how right now we have the orange shield, we have the red recording dot, we have the AI blinking, we have other things. Maybe a unified spot with all of the ways you're being recorded, whether it's video, audio, or text would be helpful, like one-stop shopping.
Or even bringing up what I showed up a further level instead of digging it further
Yeah,
down.
maybe not all the security information needs to be required, but something like that would be helpful.
It'd be
Okay.
nice to have it all in one spot, but I just have to sort of reflect as to 2020, 4 weeks in when we had our first Zoom bomb, and there was no shield there. So the complexity now that we have the recordings and ISOs and all this, so it is sort of amazing what has happened in this space, and particularly with Zoom from the early days of spring of 2020.
Oh, definitely. I'm not giving Zoom a hard time. I think Zoom's very transparent about privacy. It's just one area where someone's got a complaint that that's not very transparent, and I can see their point of view, but I don't have an immediate way to address it for them.
Yeah, I mean, for me, when I started, this is pre-COVID with Zoom, I had a lot of resistance for the faculty and some of our students who wanted to even talk or appear on screen. And part of the challenge is this is a semi-public space, so it's a cultural thing. But it is it's great that the host and co-host can see this, because I have trouble keeping track of my multiple Zoom accounts, and I have them set up. And I just went through I somehow inadvertently put something on my phone that put every device I had on Do Not Disturb. And I've said, what a wonderful day I'm having. And then I realized I had essentially turned everything off. And it was not as easy as it should have been for me to get back connected, but it eventually did tell me what I had done.
So funny you mentioned that, John, that I've done that also, where wanted to set my phone to Do Not Disturb, and because it's connected to iCloud, it turns everything off. I will say that on Tuesday, Wednesday of this week, they're installing a bunch of lights, and the guy literally cut the fiber cable in half, and we had nothing, and it was a beautiful day. It was a lovely, lovely day of no phone calls, of no meetings. It was really nice.
Back in Midwest, we call it a school snow day.
That's right. For us, it's a hurricane day in Florida.
Well,
If I could
back
just-
in the day when you needed IP addresses for standards-based video conferencing, I'll do an old guy story. So I had Comcast. I had to get the business one for my university courses. I had to have a dedicated IP address, and cost an arm and a leg, but it gave me a dedicated IP address, but also had a service where I had a 3-ring. I'd get the customer support. So I was getting ready for a big event. Everything's working fine. 15 minutes before, dead. I immediately call. They answered in 3 rings. They identified who I am. And they said, yes, you don't have service. I said, yes, this is a trouble. I got this major event happening. And he says, have you ever heard the word backhoe? And he knew exactly how many feet I was from where the cut was. And I have to give him credit. And they said, very rarely do I give Comcast credit. They said, we have a Comcast office. It's this far away from your house. We'll call them and have them set up a room for you. But anyway, yeah, backhoe stories.
I also was pleasantly surprised. There were no less than 6 trucks and 10 guys on our campus for hours trying to find what the cause of this was. And they, just like you said, they could say to me, we know that the cut or whatever the problem is 250 feet from this box or something. They didn't know which direction the 250 feet. It was pretty amazing, actually. And we're enterprise clients, so that's probably why we got the good attention, but it was something else.
So one of my students worked for the Pacific Railroad, and obviously a lot of fiber goes along railroads. And he was with a work crew and a backhoe, and they hit something that they know you shouldn't have. And they said, well, don't worry about it. We'll just cover the hole up. 8 minutes later, a helicopter was flying over them. So yeah, at least on that ride, they knew how to get to it.
Hey, James is saying that when you're presenting your image and voice on the web, you can be recorded at all times.
Yeah, that's true. But
I think this is what James is using when he mentions it to the people that he administrates as well.
I can't make, I have roughly 30 whatever thousand users. I can't make everyone have a slide like that. I mean, I can. There is a way I could make a custom disclaimer, and I could force everyone in my account to use it, but I don't want to be that heavy-handed.
Yep.
And Frank, that is in the meeting when you're going into the waiting room, right? We can put that.
No, disclaimer's different. Yeah.
You know how when you join this Zoom meeting, it says the host will ask for permission to unmute your microphone. Do you agree? That's a Zoom disclaimer, but you can make your own disclaimers. And if people don't agree to them, they don't get in the meeting.
Here is, it's in your settings. If you, come on, there we go. Show disclaimer when creating or opening a whiteboard, and then show a custom disclaimer when starting or joining a meeting. If I were to toggle this guy on, let's see what will happen.
If I was your lawyer and you were having the public engage like this, you might want to turn on a custom disclaimer for this meeting saying, by joining this meeting, you agree to be recorded, and I don't know. America's pretty litigious, right?
I can't even turn this on. I wonder if I have to,
You have to
something-
enable it at the global settings
Yeah.
before you can do it in your personal settings.
I'm surprised that it's not enabled. Oh, yeah, no. So we have to go down here to account management, account settings, and then we can search for disclaimer. Here we go. Show a custom disclaimer when turning on AI Companion. Show a custom disclaimer when starting or joining a meeting. See, now I don't actually want to do this. So internal participants, external participants, frequency.
David?
Yeah.
David, when working at this level, keep in mind that the switch that you just clicked from gray to blue sets the default for everyone in the account.
Correct.
So normally, if you want people to be able to pick, all you have to do is unlock the lock, which leaves the default no, but people can choose it if they wish.
Right, but this lock is unlocked. And yeah, so all right, if I lock this, then so it is unlocked, but I can't for some reason
I
turn
would
it
have expected
on.
you could have done that.
If
Yeah,
it's unlocked, you should be able to do it in your personal settings.
Yeah, but I couldn't. So it is unlocked. Let me log back into the other account.
I know there's some, I don't know about this one, but there's certain Zoom features that you can't have both at the same time. Or, you know what I mean? You can't have both functionalities. There's some that impede each other.
Yeah, it's not letting me. I don't know why.
Is this your PMI or is this a regular meeting?
No, this is just regular
Okay.
settings. Yeah. Interesting.
Interesting.
David, what happens if you turn it on but don't lock it?
Yeah, I don't really want to do that because like Ray said, it's a global setting and I don't want to cause my.
If he did that, every other person would have it on and they'd have to go turn it off in their personal settings.
I don't really want to do that. Sorry. In any case.
Just when we were going back to looking for things in Zoom and not seeing all of the settings, etc. If you want to feel good about Zoom, go and spend a week with MS Teams. When you come back, Zoom looks so brilliant.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The other thing about those disclaimers that I find very powerful and interesting is the frequency. So you could say the first time you use your account, you'll get this memo and never again, or you could say once a year you have to agree to these terms and conditions. So it doesn't have to be something you see every meeting. It could be once every month or once every 6 months or whatever it is. So, you know, if you're an organization and you want people to opt in to some policy, you could do that without having to annoy them every single meeting.
Yep. Do we have anything else?
I don't think you read all the release notes, but if you're
Well,
trying to end the meeting, then
Frank
you could just say
loves his release notes.
I
No. I'm not
I
trying
read
to end
them.
anything.
I read them all the time. They're very
I'm not-
important.
I'm not. Do you have them up, Mike? Are you able to grab those release notes?
Oh, okay.
Only because I've hit my 5 o'clock wall, so I have to.
All right. Well, enjoy your evening.
No. But don't go anywhere. We got more notes.
No, we could do the rest later.
Call recording transcription. Let me just adding members and channels. Add jump to message in option resources tab. Oh, was there anything else that jumped out at you?
I'm just skimming it now.
Yeah.
There's lots of mail
what's a
stuff.
warm transfer under contact center?
That's probably when you take a phone call and then you push it to the next person.
That's called
Correct.
a
And again,
warm
David, that would
transfer?
be,
Huh.
yeah.
The
So
warm
warm
transfer is when you actually talk to the person who's about to accept the call. Hey, I've got Fred over here and he's pretty angry and I'm going to give you the call. A cold transfer is when you just send it over and good luck.
Oh, wow. I didn't know
You
that.
remember back in you never did a warm transfer in a regular
I just,
telephone
no,
system?
I just never heard of those terms. That's all.
Oh, okay. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's the techie term, I guess, the warm transfer that is officially, it's a warm handoff as well. They also call that warm transfer, warm handoff. Did we also talk about any Zoom events release notes this week yet? I know I've been busy working on the YouTube stuff. So
There's the new synchronized present from Zoom to Microsoft if you're into that sort of thing, but which basically says, you know, in Microsoft Teams, it turns your bubbles a different color if you're in a Zoom meeting, if you set it up.
Frank, to your point earlier about not knowing what they've changed. Oh, sorry, David.
Right.
Okay. For Zoom events, what I do is as soon as I see a major release appear in the Zoom release notes, I actually go copy the entire release notes page into Microsoft Word, and I can compare it to the one from
Yeah.
before. And what I'm actually able to do with that is determine which things they've pulled from a release, but haven't put the note down below yet that we've pulled it.
Right.
I had a user, I can't remember exactly what it was, but hey, I thought this was going to be in the new Zoom events release this time. And I went in and did the differences and went, yeah, that's not in there anymore.
I think, you know, I'm not in charge of Zoom, but if it was me, I would just put on the release notes a timestamp saying this has been updated.
Per
Yeah.
item.
Yeah, because they don't change the whole. Usually it's one or two things they found a last minute bug or something. I would just say this has been updated. You know, it'll be deferred or it's coming later or we found an issue, but they don't do that.
Yeah.
Oh, there's a release notes for Zoom for Vision OS. I didn't even look at that. Has anyone used Zoom on a Vision Pro? I feel like John would be the logical person to ask that question to.
I've not used it. I do know people who have. They're the people who've fallen into the Vision hole and they love it.
There's a bunch of new admin features or notes about admin features. Do you have these notes, Mike?
yeah, I'll bring them up now. I'm just gonna do it as a share, but I will do that.
Sure.
All right, here we go. And if all works well, how we doing? We good?
Good.
I'm not on Zoom events. I'm just on the release notes for the client.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll go back up to the top there. Yeah, so there's the ones that Frank was just talking about. So there's the Vision OS ones, enhancements to 3D object sharing. Is that good or bad, Frank?
Sounds good. Enhancement's always good, right? I don't know.
Uh,
I haven't
Okay.
used Zoom on a Vision Pro. I have never used a Vision Pro yet. We own about 50 Oculus 3s. We own Oculus Pros. We own HTC Vives, but we haven't bought any Vision Pros yet.
No Valve indexes.
No.
Okay. All right. So let me just scroll up here. Okay. So yeah, I'm in the. All right. So we went through the mail and calendar ones. We went through clips. And we were starting to talk about there was what Dave was talking about it when it came to the warm transfers and the visual indicator for new messages in the Zoom Contact Center. Again, I don't know if anybody in this group is actually using Contact Center or not. I know we're not. So
No.
not of interest to anybody. Okay. So resolved issues we got. So we got in security enhancements. Yay! Enhancements are good. Frank said that. Okay, we heard that. All right, so enhancements are good. All right, so resolved an issue where a chat window did not display properly for a subset of users during the Zoom Contact Center. Okay, so that's Zoom Contact Center related.
I think
right,
all of
next
those release notes probably are.
Say that, Frank? Sorry?
The resolved issues are probably for the contact center.
Oh, these are all the, are they?
Maybe,
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know.
No,
You know,
there.
or maybe they're not. I don't know.
No, actually, I got one. So again, I think this is what Ray was talking about, the Microsoft Outlook Mappy calendar integration one,
Mhm.
where meetings were deleted when a participant declined the meeting. Is that related to what you were talking about too, Ray, previously or not?
I think they were
Did-
both issues in the same support piece, but I didn't actually experience any of that one.
Okay. All right. Oh, and there, oh, okay. And the one above it is actually the subset of users. So Ray might have been in that subset. Microsoft Outlook calendar integration via Mappy received errors upon opening Outlook. I guess that would be what you're talking about, Ray. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so that has been resolved. Next is the resolved an issue when embedded links in whiteboards did not open from shared spaces. Anybody noticed this one this week or have been having problems with the embedded links in whiteboards?
I don't use the whiteboards that much. I don't use
Right.
any whiteboards, like any platform for whiteboards that much, but I know some people live with them. But anyways, it
Yeah.
seems like a good thing that hyperlinks would open from your whiteboard, so that's good. We fixed it.
I wanted to create a state diagram and I went to whiteboards kind of for the first time thinking, oh, let me use whiteboards for this. And they don't have a state diagram template. So
Well, they added
Interesting.
a bunch of templates in the last 6 months. I'll probably get one eventually.
yeah.
Okay. All right. Okay, so the next one is the resolved an issue where voicemail, again, this is going back to obviously Zoom phone, where voicemail history sometimes showed up an incorrect date. Okay, so yeah, definitely I can understand why that would be an issue, definitely. We'll go on to the next one. So now we're getting into this one is iOS related. So resolved an issue where a subset of users, okay, that means at least a few people, were unable to sign in with Face ID. Does anybody run into that on the iOS platform?
Yeah.
I use Zoom on iOS, but I haven't run into the Face ID problem.
Okay. And feedback from users, Frank, on your end? No?
No one's
No
ever
issues
put a
with it?
ticket in about it with me, like with our team.
Right. Okay, cool. All right. Go on to the next one here. Resolved an issue where users were unable to star a subset of common area phones. Okay, so that again is related to Zoom phones. So, okay, so we'll go on to the next one here. Resolved an issue, again, I think we talked about this one, the C920 webcam intermittently glitching in meetings for a subset of users. So again, as we talked about earlier, if you catch that, if you didn't catch that, check us out when we're finished on YouTube and in the archive, where we were mentioning that there might have been a between the USB to the Mac operating system, from the Mac operating system to the actual Zoom client using their Zoom SDK, may or may not have been actually reading the Mac driver properly, or one of the two entities, Mac or Logitech, might have updated their driver and Zoom might not have updated their SDK properly to talk to this C920. I think that's pretty much covers that part of that one as well. Note the enhanced meeting summaries for OCR in Zoom and the ability to pre-approve users for automatic local recording features have been pulled from this release due to issues with deployment and will be available in another upcoming release.
Yeah, so the one about pre-authorizing users to locally record, you know how you click on the thing and ask permission to record? There was a functionality for a little while, but they've pulled it, where you could put a list of users' names when you were scheduling the meeting, and then they wouldn't have to ask you. They would be pre-authorized. But I guess they pulled it.
Okay, what about the OCR in Zoom? with the enhanced meeting summaries? Anybody?
Well, I'm excited about it. I haven't tried it, but I'm looking forward to using it.
Yeah, I'll be interested in whether it really does go look for stuff in there to put in the summary, or whether, I mean, if I was coding it, I would go, sometimes figuring out what the audio said may correlate to what's on a screen like that. And maybe they used a technical term, but we can't figure out what that technical term is via audio. But on the screen at that time, there was this word, and oh yeah, that's a pretty good match. That's the sort of thing I'd use it for.
It depends too, I think. I've seen a lot of people who are bad at presenting who read everything that are on their slides. Um, so then you're just going to get a duplication of what's on the slide because they're saying it word for word. But a lot of good presenters have, slides and they don't speak. They don't read the slides. They talk about the concepts. So
Right.
then it might get more fully fleshed out in the transcript that's generated from the AI system.
Cool. Okay. All right. So next, did anybody use the Intune workplace app? I'm going
My
to see.
my IT department uses it. I don't use it.
Okay. All right. Looks like there was actually looked like a lot of similar. Just briefly going through it, Frank. It looks like there's a lot of similarities with the Intune. Is it much different than the regular client? The Intune?
I think Intune's like how you deploy software at organizations, security parameters and stuff.
Okay. Okay.
I don't use it, so I don't know a whole lot about it.
Yeah, okay. So let's see here. So we've done release notes on new and enhancement features for the web. Okay. Customer managed key, ability to use new key if ever necessary. Okay, so I am fairly familiar with KMS systems. Usually that's in the Microsoft world, but customer managed key, Ray, any thoughts on that one? I don't know on the Zoom end what that would be.
I think it's for your encryption, right?
Well, it is, and it's the ability to have a locally encrypted copy of things like I don't know, cloud recording and that sort of stuff. I don't use it, but I've read a little bit about it.
Encryption and decryption requires a key. Some
Yeah.
people want to manage their own encryption keys. That I think this allows you to do that.
Okay. And now I guess that wasn't available in the web before. I guess was that available in the client?
I think it was available on the client. We don't do anything with this, so I don't pay that much attention to it.
I think it's also used on the mesh devices, so that things that are transferred from Zoom cloud down to the mesh device for distribution at the site. Like you've got 500 people at one site into the same meeting.
Recording in
It goes through the
progress.
mesh. What? Someone's recording.
I heard that too.
Not me.
Not me either.
John?
Well, I'm host, so yeah, somebody was didn't okay. All right, so next, Zoom AI Companion Universal Toggle for easy enablement.
So these are admin features. So what they're saying here is basically they've sort of put a one-stop shopping for Zoom AI Companion for admins to turn it on where you won't have as many things to enable. I don't know if I like that or not. Like I kind of like the fact that you could turn bits and pieces on, but I haven't looked at it, so maybe
I think you still can. I think there's one switch that will do you want them all disabled or do you want them
right.
enabled? And then it'll give you a pull down of checkboxes.
Sure.
Okay, all right. Ability to configure separate enforced logout policy between different sign-in methods and device types.
That's interesting. I've noticed some people have personal Zoom devices, like Facebook portals and things on our account that we don't officially support. Sounds like you'd be able to set up different policies about that.
Okay. All right. So customizable retention period and deletion notifications for surveys and poll requests and poll responses.
That's a good thing.
That's a good thing.
All of this stuff takes up space in your Zoom cloud if you've got a big organization and people are using a lot of surveys and polls. You may want to put out a policy alert to your user base and then say this is how long we save things. If you want them, download them yourself before they get wiped. But right now, I think we're pretty liberal about letting people keep stuff there. We don't have a space issue at this time.
Yeah, right now it looks like default retention period is 18 months, and can be defined. Account owners and admins can define a custom retention period for survey and poll responses ranging from 1 day to 2 years. So okay, that's good. That's flexible.
1 day is not very long. Eh? Wow.
Well, again, if you know the type of client you might have in this case, or it would be, just give them, a week. So there would be, you put in there for 7 days. If you want the results, download the results, you got a week to download the results.
Yeah, I don't know. I have people using Zoom for research, and I think if I wipe their data out that quickly, they'd be pretty mad at me.
Thus the 2 years. I understand.
Yep.
Yeah. Guaranteed. Support meeting Q&A settings configuration for admins. So account owners and admins can preset meetings default Q&A settings at the account, group, and user levels, and lock the ability for users within their account to enable anonymous questions.
That was already kind of there, so I'm not sure like what refinements they made. I have to go look.
Yeah, I'm on that as well. Ray, any thoughts of what might be different? As far as I know,
no.
Yeah. To me, I thought that was already there too. So as I was reading that, I was like, my brain was telling me that's already
Maybe
there.
there's more granularity or something.
Could be a lot more, maybe at the different levels, maybe a lot more capabilities of locking and unlocking certain things, probably. Okay, so next one, synchronized presence from Zoom to Microsoft, the main control. So I guess this is what we're talking about, good old Microsoft Teams here. Account owners and admins can enable or disable the ability of users within their account to seamlessly synchronize their presence from Zoom to Microsoft, maintaining a consistent representation across both platforms. Ray,
So
I'm going to
in a meeting, busy, away, that kind of stuff.
Yeah, I would think so. Ray, I think you probably heard a lot of this one in the community, right? Was Zoom to Microsoft?
Honestly, I don't hear that much discussion about Microsoft on Zoom community.
Is this, again, it sounds like to me, then it might be more in the enterprise account level. If a lot of people are using Microsoft 365.
Yeah. The one thing I will say now that we're not really done yet, but is the big complaint that I hear over on the Zoom community these days is that the Linux version is more buggy and slower to be fixed than all of the other stuff.
I've actually experienced that, Ray, when people come onto these big meetings and they complain that they can't get into breakout rooms. It turns out that the majority of them are on Linux. So yes, I have heard and seen that.
Linux users don't get any love.
Yeah, I've very true. I've actually compared my Windows one because I don't have any Macs, but as far as Windows to Linux, and I am seeing the different functionality differences that the Windows client is so much more mature than the Linux one right now.
And I elevated one of the Zoom community posts up to Alexis, who's kind of over the community management area, and because it really got very detailed in a lot of things, and a couple of the guys actually figured out exactly which package was causing which incompatibility. And unfortunately, the rest of that thread just broke into, well, yeah, I'm using this distribution and I'm using that, and mine's different from this. And it's like, I don't think Zoom really is going to make sure that we're compatible with all of that stuff. Yeah.
Right. Well, I can tell you from the actual, because again, I do actually run a few machines with the Linux client. And again, basic stuff, like when Robert's talking about breakout rooms, we don't use breakout rooms, but doing the basic stuff of connecting to a meeting, being in the meeting, audio and video working for the meeting, that's fine. But again, once you start getting into the, AI related stuff or extra functionality stuff, yes, that's where Linux will start to fall apart. And again, right now, on the different flavors of Linux that they're supporting right now, is a lot of them are Debian based and a lot of them are Ubuntu based. So again, your mileage will vary differently on that. Ubuntu is based on Debian. I'm not going to get into a Linux thing here. But basically the scenario is that when the different flavors do come up, Ray, just for your sake, when it comes to the community, unless you're familiar with all the different flavors, a lot of them, for the developers of the Linux client, they will have to more understand what the core, even though the pretty interface, like we're used to, Mac is interface, Windows is an interface, the pretty interfaces might have their own issues.
Let's just agree that we're going to support vanilla, chocolate, and strawberry, and not pistachio or butterbrickle. Yeah, I don't know.
Right. Yeah. No, understood. And yeah, so basically the scenario there is that, yes, Zoom will have to more base it on the actual core kernel more, and not worry as much more about the finesse part of the actual Windows. And I won't use that loosely, but Windows is different in Linux. It's its own separate service. You don't actually have to run Windows to be on Linux. But I'll leave that at this particular point, because then we're going to go down a slippery slope of Linux. Okay, so the next feature that we're talking about is the limit result size in survey result view. Well, that's a bit confusing. Let me do that again. Limit result size in survey result view. Okay, all right. Survey owners can limit the number of results displayed in the survey result view to improve loading times. That's loading times in the client. I'll keep reading. The overview page displays a maximum of 50,000 results. The launch history page displays a maximum of 100 results. And individual responses are limited to 1,000 results. Survey owners can also filter the launch history by date and time. We aren't a big organization that uses the survey functionality, so I don't run into this at all. So I would look at you guys if you guys use the survey functionality a lot more than we do. Oh, everybody's doing crickets on me, so I'm
just when we were talking about Linux, like Zoom's going to put resources into the operating systems that are used the most, obviously. So I just checked our stats, and like Windows is 54%, Mac is 40 whatever percent, and then Linux was 0.038%. So if I'm Zoom and I have comparable stats to that, then that team's going to be pretty small and probably not not going to move as fast as the products that are being used by the majority of people in the planet, right?
Mm-hmm.
My experience, Frank, is that point something of percent as the IT department, so they'll manage fine.
yeah. Sorry about that. Anyways.
That's all right. That's all right. No, I'm just wondering if anybody's run into this, or at the user feature level, the limit result size in survey result view.
I've never had a complaint, but if they can improve the load times, that's always a good thing.
Okay. Yeah, we don't use it enough to see that there would be any lag. So,
I
and
think except for a couple of very rare circumstances, our largest meetings are 1,000 people. So if you're going to survey 1,000 people, I don't know how many survey questions there are, but 50,000. Yeah, 50, and that's for one meeting. But I mean, obviously this is probably, I don't know if this means for all of their surveys or survey per meeting or webinar. I don't know.
yeah, I,
You know,
not
this may be associated with the fact that the surveys and the polls are available sort of non-stop. And from what I can see is they are the launch history. When you think about the launch history, which year, which month, etc. And I can see that amount of data accumulating, but I don't think it's sort of a natural hour size type challenge or issue. Maybe for
And
you,
surveys
Frank.
can be launched at the end of meetings, for example, and also at the end of events, but they've got their own analytics. So that could feed into the launch date. We've had this training session over this period of time, but I want to see the surveys, when the heat was 115 degrees and see how those were compared to the ones when it was 85.
yeah, I get that. All right, the next one is ability to synchronize presence from Zoom to Microsoft. Okay, so that is similar to, if enabled by the account owners or admins, users can seamlessly synchronize their presence from Zoom to Microsoft. So again, yeah. Okay, so this time they actually say meeting will also change a user's presence, which will then be pushed and reflected in Microsoft 365 with this capability enabled. Interesting.
I guess that's really for organizations using 365 that also use Zoom, isn't it?
Yeah,
Instead
it
of
almost
MS
feels
Teams.
like, maybe they might have, again, they're running both. Obviously, they have Microsoft 365 and they also are utilizing Zoom. But it's good that it's seamless. How seamless is probably the question. Seamless is a very relative term. How seamless is it? It's so seamless that everybody's happy with it, we hope. But I guess as long as it does work, and would this be also related to, no, I guess this wouldn't be related to the same thing when it came to the email stuff, right? This would be something different.
Probably not. That status thing is, we've talked about that a couple of times. It's kind of a different animal, I think.
Sorry, John, are you coming in again?
Yeah, I'm doing a little playing around here. If you let me in again, that'd be great.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. So again, just to finish this up, that would be related to the web one. So this is again minor bug fixes, of course, resolved an issue where in the poll result reports were blank. Interesting. Resolved an issue wherein the poll result reports were blank. I've never seen that. Right? Any thoughts?
Yeah.
No. Interesting.
I've actually seen that when you when you choose the option to set up breakout rooms based on poll results, sort of lose the results. And I didn't realize that. I thought I was doing something wrong. I didn't realize there was actually an issue.
So maybe it's a programmer thing where they're thinking, oh, well, you don't really care about the results of that. You just want to get people into the right room. And so they just toss the results rather than saving them. Maybe that's kind of weird. Huh.
Maybe, but I've seen it happen then, answering your question, Mike. That's
makes sense.
No, it's interesting. Yeah, again, we don't use that poll functionality or the survey functionality very often, so I would not be able to give any input on that one. All right, so next one, resolved an issue where in an incorrect auto delete date, all right, auto delete date was shown in the Zoom AI companion management page. Interesting. Again, we don't use the AI companion as much as probably I should here at the office, at the company. But again, I don't have any way to confirm or deny that I ran into that. Anybody?
The programmer, the programmer in me says maybe not like off by a week, but maybe off by a day or less than a day, because someone was using the local time instead of the GMT time, or didn't convert, or something along those lines.
Yes. Very good. Yeah. No, I can see that, right? I can see that.
Been there, done that.
Yeah. Again, I can see that. So yeah, it might have been programmed, or it was where the client wanted it to listen to like GMT. In my case, it would be -4. In this case, it was set up to be GMT or something, and that threw everything off a bit. Yeah, I can see that. All right, next one. Resolved an issue wherein users received an error when generating the webinar attendee report. Webinar attendee report.
I haven't seen any errors, to be very honest with you.
I'll agree with that. I'll second that. Ray, anything?
It says specifically generating, and again, the programmer in me wonders whether you just get you screwed up, or does it say no, you can't have the start date after the end date, or something along those lines. But anyway, I haven't seen it.
Okay. All right. Moving on. Resolved an issue wherein the meetings, health, and issue column in the Zoom dashboard appeared blank.
I'm a pro account, so I don't get the dashboard.
I'll ditto that. Yeah. Again, with us, with our pro accounts here too. No, we don't do that as well. We don't have that as well. All right, going once, going twice. Nobody's seen this one either. All right, next. Resolved an issue wherein the alternative host received access restricted 200. All right, gotta like those 200 errors. When trying to create or edit a poll, all right, we're going back to polls again. Edit a poll for a meeting, even though access were already given. Frank, I'm going to go to you on that one. No? Maybe? Access restricted error on alternative host? Or maybe
Sorry, I haven't seen that. If you want, I could probably show you what system health looks like if you're interested, but if you're not, don't worry about it.
Sure. Yeah.
All right, sure. I have to do portion of screen though, because I can't let you see everything.
Of course.
Portion of screen. Sure.
What we want to see? I know.
Oh my, look at that.
Sorry, I'm trying to adjust this. So you're seeing that, right?
Yeah, I'm just checking
myself.
So
basically what you can do as an admin is you can go into your Zoom admin panel and you can set up alerts. So when Zoom's constantly analyzing the system health, audio quality, video quality, connectivity, and then you can set up alerts saying when it reaches a certain threshold, send these particular people alerts saying there's a problem with the sorry, I guess got a notification. Anyways, you can see a notification. So there's different health statuses for, different parts and whether it's in a certain part of the country or the world. That is all.
Okay. Yeah. And yeah, there we go. Okay. Yeah. I was just double checking, Frank, when you're going through that. I just wanted to make sure YouTube saw it because again, it took my share. It did not take yours when you were showing her. So I just wanted to make sure that when you're showing that it came through and it has. Good. Cool. Okay. Yeah, let me just go back to the, yeah, so the next in the release notes was Zoom Team Chat. I think we went through that. Release notes in the web app. Just scanning through there. There's nothing really in the web app.
Mike, you're no longer sharing the
Yep.
release notes.
Yeah, thanks. Here we go. There we go. We're back.
Thank you.
Mm-hmm. And yeah, so I'm in the, yeah, so again, I was just looking through the Zoom web app stuff. It's good that they went up to version 3 of reCAPTCHA. That's good. I don't see anything in there, Frank, of anything that might be of interest in there or not. I don't, to me, I don't see anything. Oh, meeting features. Actually, I see one here. Enhancements to meeting notice auto dismissal. Users joining meetings from MTR or Google Meet hardware devices. Okay, so Google Meet.
MTR is Microsoft Teams rooms.
Okay. Or Google Meet hardware devices can now experience a streamlined meeting experience. The system automatically dismisses various notices, including recording, consent, meeting, summary, AI, companion, archiving consent, live streaming consent, save, able, caption, consent, and general meeting webinar disclaimers. Oh my. I have to display them for 3 seconds. Go for it, Frank.
Basically, a lot of institutions or companies use Microsoft Teams or Google Meet hardware, and then what you're doing is you're trying to meet on someone else who's in a Zoom system. There's been compatibility issues because, you know, 2 different systems trying to work as the same. So sounds like they fixed some of those issues, but stay tuned for more, right?
Mm-hmm. That's right. Okay, and then we got meeting and webinar features. I see improved mobile web support for webinars and meetings. Okay, gotta like the word improved. Let's see how they're improving. Users can join webinars and meetings through the mobile web, providing a seamless and interactive experience. Note, the mobile web supports limited feature functionality.
That's a nice caveat.
Limited feature functionality. Very important words.
That's always been true, though. If you look at the client feature table comparison, the desktop app on Mac and Windows is the most fully featured. And then as you use the other clients, you start losing functionality. So that's always been true.
Just a dumb question, maybe. What's the difference between a mobile app and a mobile web? Sure, I know what a mobile web is.
So the installed Zoom app is the app, but using Safari on your phone would be mobile web, I think.
Okay, I've never actually used Zoom on a browser on my mobile phone, so
it's not a fun experience. I've tried it.
Yeah, I've only been in a couple situations like Ray was just talking about too. Yeah, I've only been in a couple situations that for whatever reason, I think to be honest, I think it was on my Linux machine for whatever reason, and the older client just did not want to play nice for whatever version that was, and I had to go to the web browser to actually get into the meeting because of the location that I was in at the current time. So
Mike,
yeah,
can you just repeat that? What laptop were you on?
I was on a Linux laptop.
Oh wow!
That. Yeah, I was on a Linux laptop traveling at that time, and I was having the problem with the version that it was currently of the Linux client at that particular point. For Robert's sake, I was running Linux Mint, so it was the Mint version of the client, and for whatever reason, it just wasn't stable. I was able to connect. I wasn't doing anything exciting, they weren't doing anything exciting in the meeting using the extra functionality, but it just became unstable to the point that I was losing video and it wasn't my internet connection. I knew that. So, but I actually dropped being in the Linux client and actually went to the web browser and everything was fine. But again, very rare do I use the web client as well.
It also might be referring to PWAs, progressive
For-
web apps.
Okay.
So that'd be
Okay.
Chrome, especially, right?
Right. Yeah, that's a good call. So again, that would be more on like a Chromebook, Frank, correct? Or no?
Yeah, you're right.
Okay, good. All right. We don't have many Chromebooks users in the company, so I was just wondering about that. Very rarely do they use their Chromebook to go into our meetings, but
Yeah, so progressive web apps are really web-based applications, right?
yeah, just with a pretty wrapper around them so that you actually double click on it as if it's loading a piece of software, but it's not really. It's just a web browser in disguise. Okay, so Zoom events, release notes. Yes, I was in the meeting this week and Ray was there, John was there. Josh usually shows up to that as well on that. And here's some quick ones that we can talk about. Depreciate recording access on event landing pages. So now the ability to embed recordings directly on the landing page have been depreciated. So they've taken that away. Good or bad? I would love to hear everybody's opinion on
I
that.
think Zoom was the only people I knew that did that. So
Zoom were the only ones. Ray, what do you mean?
well,
is that
actually embedding
functional?
a video in one of the landing pages. Not too many people were doing that.
Okay. Gotcha. Okay. All right. So that was okay. So that was more of a Zoom internal using it thing more than the actual general public. Yeah. Okay. So scheduled email invitations for attendee lists. Yeah, I heard the big discussion about this one, Ray. You want to take over on that one?
Nah, but pretty easy. You can just create a list of attendees and it'll send emails to them to invite them.
Yeah. And that sounds like that should have been there before, but it is not. So that's a good thing. Enhancements to the left navigation order.
Move the menus around on the left side.
Yeah. So, okay. So this one I know was talked about quite a bit, which is the event landing page. So enhancements to the event landing page. I know this even came up, I believe, yesterday in their meeting as well as one of their big bullet points for.
Well, and they talk about if page builder configuration is available for an event. I like, Frank, that you go, oh, Zoom's very transparent, but sometimes they just don't come out and say things that they ought to really say. And here they ought to say, look, we know that Page Builder only works right now for single session events. Doesn't work for anything else. So Page Builder configurations available only for single session events, and you can do stuff to make it very, very fancy.
Yeah. So they've expanded the file sharing capabilities for Zoom events and sessions. So now Zoom events and Zoom sessions support sharing JPEGs, PNG, and PowerPoint in addition to previously allowed list of file types that they were allowing.
Which was PDF.
Ooh, okay. And the maximum number of documents that can be shared has also been increased from 5 to 50.
Yep.
So that's cool. Okay, so clarifying webinar access based on Zoom events and Zoom session license types. Go ahead, Ray.
I sent this paragraph to one of my contacts inside Zoom, and I said, what does this mean? And they were, oh, I don't know what it means. And I finally got a contact actually to me from Alexis through a program manager for Zoom events. And apparently some of the things that people were getting the small sessions pay per attendee account for to get access to some things is being taken away. You have to have a Zoom Events Unlimited license in order to get these things. I clarified this morning that it does not affect the ZoomISO, OSC tiles and those sorts of things. You can have any Zoom Events license and your access to Pro for that will be, but yeah, they're clarifying some of that and making some changes where things slipped through before.
So just to understand you correctly, so if you have something that is cyclically billed, then there are no restrictions. Is that what you're saying?
No, it depends on the license type that you have. If you have an unlimited license, you can access things like Backstage, Simulive, Production Studio in a standalone webinar. But if you've got a PPA license, your ability to do those things in a standalone webinar are, if they were available before, they're not available now.
I wasn't aware that they were available. Okay. Thank you.
Very interesting. So was available, now disappeared.
Well,
Depending on
and really the operative word there is clarifying. I don't know which of those things were actually available because I actually have both an unlimited and a PPA license. But I know that I've heard people going, well, but I've got a PPA license. Why can't I do it here? And yeah, I kind of like didn't know what to tell them. This is the clarifying piece of that.
So I guess the caveat here is that someone would take PPA for a minimal amount of users and then use that to access all of those production functionalities through via a webinar.
Yeah, like David got the Sessions 50 PPA license in order to use you know, the ZoomISO, the liminal apps. And that's fine.
All right. Okay. So next one is improved character limit visibility when creating resource links. When creating resource links, and go ahead, Ray.
Yeah, as you type the things, it tells you how many characters you have left.
Right. Yeah. Where before that was, yeah, they would limit it. They would actually limit it, but you wouldn't actually know you would hit that.
Dunk, 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 dunk. How come my character's not moving?
Right. Yeah. Increased yes. And this is, of course, everybody was applauding this one, I believe, right? Increased recurring sessions event limit to 3 sessions per day from, if I'm right, 1.
From
correct?
2. From 2.
From
it was
2.
2.
Okay.
Yeah. So the idea is that if you're going to have a recurring session, let's say you're going to have an all hands meeting on Thursdays, and you're an international company and you want to have one that's convenient for the US, one that's convenient for Europe, one that's convenient for Asia and whatever, 3 different time zones. You couldn't do that before. You could only split into 2. Now you can actually split it into 3. And I've tried to create a 4th, and it gives you a beautiful message that says, we're sorry, but you are limited to 3 of these per day. So you can make any recurring schedule and even add in a session where you might have already scheduled 2, but no, we want to add a 3rd. You can do that manually in the scheduling piece. You just can't add a 4th.
Okay. Robert, that makes sense?
Yeah, it makes sense. I've never come across that limitation, to be very honest with you, but it makes sense. Yeah.
Cool. All right. So now we're getting into the new features, new and enhanced features. All right. Attendee features. So enhancements to session join. Yeah, I have to be careful here now. Again, using
session join experience, right? So this one to me was very, very interesting and important to me, and I think I mentioned it briefly during the meeting.
Yeah.
That the ICS calendar link will include the deep link to get directly into the session. And why this excites me is I'm a StreamAlive user and I could not get StreamAlive to join meetings in events. because you've got to navigate through the lobby. This deep link to get you straight into the meeting will be the thing that actually allows me, I think, I haven't tested it yet, to get Stream Live to join directly in Zoom events.
Right. Yeah. So that one was quite important. Improved recording playback experience with enhanced player now. So yeah, so
I
several
haven't tried
enhanced
this to
player.
see what it really does, but I don't know. From my perspective, the player that Zoom has is really, really great because it gives you the screen share view and the speaker view and the scrolling chat, but it doesn't give you a left arrow, right arrow to go back and forth 10 seconds and do some of the things that other popular viewers can do. I don't know whether this includes those capabilities or not, but I hope it does.
Right. Right. Okay. And on the developer feature side, enhancements to the event access link management. So this is getting into the APIs.
Yeah. John Drinkwater would be excited about that one.
Yeah. And I think he was, if I remember correctly, in the meeting. Yeah. Yeah. Okay. So next, introducing Page Builder. Did we talk about Page Builder already? I think we talked about
We
Page
talked
Builder.
about Page Builder. Yeah.
Yeah. So next, okay. So yes, and the customized browser favicon for branded event registration pages. Yes, it
I've already
doesn't
had
seem like
three
a big
people.
issue.
I've already had 3 people ask me about this. Well, where
Yeah.
is it? Where is it? It's on the Page Builder page, so it's only available for single sessions events. So recurring events and multi-sessions and all that, not quite yet. But the reality is, where it normally says the little blue ZM icon, you'll be able to put your own favicon up there for your organization.
Yeah. So again, it allows you to fully brand and it
Yeah.
actually look like, even though Zoom is in the background and Zoom is the actual true engine,
Right.
it allows you to cover up the favicon in the browser. Okay. Next, add survey component to post event emails by default.
So I think Josh mentioned that you used to be able to add the survey link manually and drag and drop into the post-event email, but now they've set it so that when it's generated to begin with, it includes that link if you have a survey specified, but you can still add it, not add it, either one.
Right. Clarify email recipients and triggers within email area.
Yeah, there's a clarification somewhere, and I don't know what it is.
Yeah, that's a good one too. Customizable countdown timer for event pages. Again,
so yeah, when you come into
session.
the when you come into the lobby, assuming that the lobby is opened in advance, there's a countdown timer of when the event actually starts. You can actually now put this in your event pages, and I think it's also going to be in the emails as well. You'll be able to go, hey, this doesn't start until whenever.
I was trying to remember Josh's demo, if that actually was even showing us in the email builder or if that was in the page builder.
I think it was in the email. I think it's in both.
Yeah. So that is kind of cool that you could actually size it to what you want if you want to have that in the actual email to give that how many days time based on the person's local clock.
Yep.
Right. Next is the button component for Page Builder.
Yeah, you can add a button in Page Builder. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Yeah, I thought it was as simple as that. Yeah, that wasn't, didn't talk
Did
too
this
much
really
about
need a whole paragraph?
Yeah, I know. Enhancements to location map component.
So primarily for on-site, in-person, and hybrid events, they're increasing the functionality now of the map component. And I haven't actually tried this, but I do have 1 or 2 demo hybrid events in my little test suite. I'm going to give this a try here in a week or so.
Right. So that you can actually put in the actual location / map component portion into it. That's cool.
Yep.
Again, anything to make the, and that would be on the main page, or is that going to the page builder, or is that into the?
I think that functionality actually becomes important in the Zoom app itself, the companion mode. So if you're an on-site person, you'll be able to pull up the event and click and see the map. And you're supposed to be able to go, here's where you are on the map, and here's where I want to go. And it's supposed to help you with that. I haven't actually been in a location where I've done that before, but it's supposed to work.
Right. Okay. All right. So now onto the host features. All right. So customize browser tab name for branded event experience.
Yeah, I don't fully understand this one enough. Which browser tab? And I think that's if you are joining from a web browser, you'll be able to actually stuff the name of the event in the web browser tab. That's kind of a guess, but I think that's it.
Yeah, it almost feels like it's almost that now that they allowed you to customize the favicon, it's right beside it, right in the tab.
Yep.
So
yep.
That's where I'm going with that one. Ability to customize meeting ID and passcode per group join link.
So yeah, I haven't actually looked at this, but it sounds to me like we'll be able to put in, like the Z Kitchen name or those sorts of things.
Yeah.
Yeah. Most people don't ever see those.
Right. Yeah. So that's where that one is. Customizable display name terminology. Display name terminology. All right.
Yeah.
Host.
There are several. Yeah. There's several things in the Zoom Events platform that you can change the actual labels. For example, sponsors. You can. One of my clients call them partners and that sort of thing. So what they're really saying is the display name can be changed. I don't know. Well,
from the default that was in that they've been using in the templates already. Okay, so the terminology, yeah, okay. So instead of it being sponsors, it could be, yeah, like you were saying. I got that one. I got that now.
Yep.
Okay. Send emails by timestamp and export capability.
Yeah, it used to be real clunky. You had to enter in an email address and or something in order to find things, and now you'll be able to sort them and kind of sift through them by date and time.
Yeah, good. Yeah, as Frank would say, good enhancement. All right, that was a good enhancement. Add help center and support links to Zoom events setup flow. So that would be, I guess, your own customized help center instead of using Zoom's related one, right? I guess, is that my off base on that one? I didn't hear that one being talked much about.
I haven't really figured out what this really is yet.
Okay. All right. I'll stick with that because I don't remember Josh talking too much about that one. All right. Yeah. All right. Enhancements to embedding video on demand. Yes, this one was talked about quite a bit.
Yeah, they're actually trying to make it so that you have not only the event, but also video on demand and able to filter and group by categories and that sort of stuff. And you'll be able to take recordings and put them out there, make them available so that people don't have to register into the event in order to get to them. You're supposed to be able to still require them to register to view it. And, basically put recordings out there sort of for evergreen content. People can see them.
Right. Okay. And that is it when it comes to the host features. Now we're talking about the hub features. Again, just for everybody's sake, the hub is the hub. If you haven't done your hub in Zoom events, as they keep telling us, make your hub. Right. AI image generation for event branding in content library and hub. So yes, this allows you to, and Josh has been using it quite often weekly for us, where he's been generating new AI images all the time and using the event branding in the library.
Yep.
So that's really cool that's now capable in there. Enhancements to Ray. Anything else about that one? No, that's pretty much covered, right? That's it. Yeah. Enhancements to event management for canceled events. So this is a good one.
So for those of us that do a lot of demo and test types events, I'll schedule something and it'll be 3 or 4 days, and I'll kind of get one day into it and do some testing, and then I'll cancel the event. And it used to be you only had 3 tabs: upcoming, draft, and past. And now those canceled ones will go into a separate tab and kind of be out of the way because you don't want to clutter them in your listing while you're looking for stuff.
Right. So it's now allowing us to do a lot more testing. And that is definitely something that they've preached, that they want us to do a lot of testing in the sessions and the events products. So that definitely helps us because, again, the cancel events were definitely, as Ray was saying, cluttered everything up. Okay, so embed video on demand, video list, and player. And that was, again, is this on Page Builder, if I remember?
Well,
Or
no,
no?
this is the ability in that video on demand to actually create an embedded link so that you can actually show that in another web page.
Right.
And
Yes.
you used to be able to do it, but it didn't really work very well, as I tried it a couple of times and only got it to work once. But they're enhancing that a little bit so that you should be able to put it wherever and it'll work.
Right. And then if I remember correctly, you could actually be specific on if it could be put anywhere, or
Right.
if it actually is specific on, you want to lock it down to just your domain name on your website or something like that, you could do that as well. So
Yeah.
you do have that security functionality built into that function. Okay, bulk image mapping, bulk image matching for speakers and sessions. So
I haven't seen this actually work yet, but the good news in Zoom Events is that you can create a CSV file for all of your sessions, and you can create a CSV file for all of your speakers, and you can actually link the speakers and sessions using text. The issue then is, like, if someone dumps we're going to have 40 speakers, here's 40 pictures. How do I match those pictures up with those speakers? I don't know how they're going to make that work, but I'm going to be happy that it's there once I figure it out.
Right. Exactly. Okay. All right. So the last one in this section is improved video embedding with public
Yeah,
and
it kind of
private
relates to the one up above. Yeah,
right. So that's
both
what we were
same.
talking about that already. Yeah. Where it was again, where you can lock it down to your domain or to certain domains, or you can have it wide open where people can just put it anywhere on any social media platform or where.
And I don't know anything about any of the integration because I and my staff, oh wait, it's just me, don't have any of these applications, right?
Yeah. And I can second that motion. Robert, you third that motion? Motion carried. Okay, we don't have the integrations. All right, very good. We're not integrating. All right, so we're going down to meeting and webinar features. Okay, customize session wallpapers for branding and personalization.
It was kind of interesting that you could create a number of things, the little name tags and a couple of other things, the virtual backgrounds, but you couldn't necessarily customize the wallpaper. And that wallpaper then would be the background for everyone viewing for the event.
Right. So that's very cool. And now we're getting into Zoom session specific features. All right. Automatically open survey at event end or exit for single session events. And you would think that was there already, but it is now.
It was kind of there, but it kind of like faded off into the background and nobody ever saw it. And eventually when they did, they clicked it and made it go away.
Sweet. Okay. Simplify registration with optional features for all event types.
Yeah, the registration, it's not really technically called a builder, but I kind of refer to it as the registration builder and the ticket builder. It was just, a long scrollable list of options and features and that sort of stuff. And what they've done is they've added a little radio button that says, do you want features that look like this? And if you click the radio button, it kind of drops down and shows you the options for that. If you're not at all interested in those, it just keeps it tucked up nice and neat, and you're doing less scrolling.
Makes it pretty looking in the interface. And especially, and the assumption is everything's disabled unless you enable it, right?
Correct. I believe so.
All right. And allow bulk upload of panelists for session light events. Good old session light events now.
And again, I don't know, Robert, what you think, but session light is like, sessions is webinars on steroids, whereas session light is like webinars with an extra cup of coffee, a little extra caffeine.
I don't even know what that is, to be very honest with you.
It's a radio button that basically gives you a webinar with a couple of more little things in it. Kind of looks like a Zoom sessions, all trimmed down with, no leaves and no branches, just a trunk. And what they had done was make it so that you couldn't even upload the panelists. A lot of people who use webinars get a CSV file with email address and name, and you upload that, and now you can. So
Okay.
from here, guys, I'm going to have to go. But I did want to hang through the Zoom event stuff, and
No, appreciate it, Ray. Thanks for that.
and I'll be reaching out to you guys individually on the Zoom events thing for us, and we'll get a practice session in hopefully in next week and see how it goes.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Sure.
Sounds good.
Yeah. And again, I'm
I
just
too am-
scrolling through everybody. Yep. Go ahead.
I'm going to leave as well. It's gone midnight here, so I'm done. But thanks very much for allowing me to use the all of the attendees here to try out tiles from Zoom to see how this layout works. It's been very interesting.
Of course. Yeah. And again, so that's basically, as far as our community is concerned, that is the end of the actual release notes as well. So I will also be signing off to everybody on our friends on YouTube. And I hope you guys enjoyed this week's show. And we're back here once again every Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern. Take care, everybody on YouTube. And again, we'll see what David is up to in the kitchen. That is the Zoom